treatment and cancer prevention.
Our goal would be to try to understand the mechanism and see if we can mimic this using a therapeutic way to treat the disease.
Heather Bosch, CBS News.
A divided Supreme Court has ruled that Americans cannot sue the U.S. Postal Service even when employees deliberately refuse to deliver mail. By a 5-4 vote, the justices ruled against Texas landlord Labine Conan, who alleges her mail was intentionally withheld for 2 years. Conan is black and claims racial prejudice played a role in postal employees' actions. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
Good afternoon, sunny and 32 degrees at 5:05 on a Tuesday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis studios in Uniontown. Davis & Davis attorneys at law, voted Fayette County's best law firm 2025, your local station, 590 and 101.1 WMBS. The Weather Watch and sports on the way in just a bit. Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday praised efforts made by local and federal law enforcement agencies in southwestern Pennsylvania this week for a record-breaking illegal firearm gun seizure. In January, Sunday said law enforcement seized over 40 firearms throughout Fayette, Somerset, Westmoreland, and Allegheny County. Two of the biggest seizures of illegal guns happened here in Fayette and Somerset counties. In the Fayette case, which is still an ongoing investigation, they seized more than a dozen illegal guns, along with fentanyl, powder cocaine, and crack cocaine as well. So far, 9 people have been arrested in connection with about 20 cases involving illegally possessed firearms. Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro is set to meet with farmers and state agriculture officials tonight to discuss concerns about rising bird flu cases in the state. Since the start of this year, more than 7 million birds and commercial and backyard flocks in Pennsylvania have been affected by avian flu outbreaks. United States Department of Agriculture data shows that information. Most of those cases have been reported in commercial flocks in Lancaster. The governor's office says Pennsylvania has lost more than 14.3 million birds since the current bird flu outbreak first started in February 2022. The governor announced this month that 42 USDA workers were dispatched to the Commonwealth to help dozens of state employees working to mitigate the spread of bird flu. For those in Fayette and Greene and Somerset that go to Pittsburgh for work or pleasure, PennDOT has announced that part of the Parkway East near the Squirrel Hill Tunnel is closing around the clock from July 10th to August 3rd this year so that the new Commercial Street Bridge can be installed. Crews have been constructing the new bridge for about 2 years, and it will be slid into place to align with the lanes of the Parkway. PennDOT says that project is expected to be finished by the summer of 2027, so just over a year. Breeze Airways announced new nonstop service between Pittsburgh International and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, starting July 3rd. The new route will operate twice weekly on Mondays and Fridays. One-way fares for the direct flights will start at $39. The service connects Pittsburgh International Airport to one of the most popular summer vacation spots in the region. Someone won over $500,000 instantly on a fast play game sold in Westmoreland County. The Pennsylvania Lottery says a progressive top prize-winning Making Money game worth over $535,500 was sold at a Sunoco gas station in Salem Township yesterday. Making Money is a $20 fast play game with progressive top prizes starting at $400,000 that prints on demand from a sales terminal or self-service touchscreen terminal. The gas station gets a $5,000 bonus for selling that winning ticket. FedEx is suing the Trump administration for tariff refunds.
The shipping giant filed the suit Monday, just days after the Supreme Court struck down most of the president's sweeping tariffs. FedEx is asking for a full refund of all tariffs it paid the government. Last Friday, the High Court ruled that Trump had exceeded his presidential authority when he imposed the tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Lawsuits filed by other companies before the Supreme Court's decision are still pending. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
In Westmoreland County, the Hempfield Area School District will spend nearly $5.5 million to replace 4 of its grass fields with synthetic turf. Following a divided vote by the school board last night, the district will place turf on its high school baseball, softball, and multi-purpose grass fields this summer. District officials said rainy weather was the reason for the switch to turf. The district will pay McKinley Architecture and Engineering about $283,000 to finish design work for the turf fields. Turf materials will cost about $673,500, and installation will cost nearly $4.5 million. And more next on WMBS.
Is that a bird I hear? I think it's almost spring. We have to get the junk out of the garage. I need a shed. But a cool shed, yeah. Maybe a she shed or an office shed.
I know just the place where you can find the perfect shed. It's Ultimate Structures on Route 51 in Perry Township.
Well, I need to see them for myself. I don't want to go downtown to the home show.
See large and small sheds, office sheds, animal shelters, recreational cabins, garages. It's unbelievable. Right in Bell Vernon. Visit the Mega Lot at Ultimate Structures. There's no need to run to Pittsburgh. Order right now and you'll get our 12% spring discount on all new shed orders.
I'm Googling Ultimate Structures Bell Vernon. Okay, they're just outside Perryopolis. There's a website and a Facebook page, plus that 12% discount right now.
Ultimate Structures is the only independent dealer representing JDM Structures in Pennsylvania. Stop in. We design what you desire.
The first bald eagle egg of the year has appeared in the nested U.S. Steel's Mon Valley Works Irvin plant in West Mifflin, Allegheny County. Eagles Irvin and Stella are mining the nest that captures the attention of observers each year. The nest can be viewed via live stream by searching Irvin Eagle's Nest on YouTube online. And no sports tonight. We do have the State of the Union address from Washington, starting at 9 this evening on WMBS from CBS News. And the Pirates with the spring training win today. They're back in action tomorrow afternoon. We'll have Bucco's spring training action for you from Florida Sunday afternoon on WMBS. Pitt basketball will be our next live game tomorrow night. Pitt at Stanford starting at 7:30 Wednesday night on WMBS. And the U.S. gold medal winning hockey team, the men, will be in attendance at the State of the Union tonight as well. And now the WMBS weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania. Right now sunny and 32, down to 27 tonight. Some flurries moving in on Wednesday. And the high is warming up to 47 in the afternoon, though could have some light flurries in the morning, just a dusting, if any. Low at 27 tomorrow night, sunny Thursday at 45. Then spring leg for the start of the weekend, 57 with sun Friday. Saturday up to 63 with a chance of showers. Overnight low 34, then a chance of some light snow flurries Sunday, the 1st of March at 39, dropping down to 34 for Monday and a Tuesday of next week. But dry today, right now sunny and 32 degrees at 5:11 on a Tuesday afternoon. And good afternoon from the Davis & Davis studios in Uniontown at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. We will bring you the stock report from Jenny Montgomery Scott, then the first hour of a 3-hour edition of the Afternoon Drive Show with Doug Saltzman next. That's all on the way on WMBS. Good evening.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
Good evening. This is Angie Danko of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 370.4 points, closing at 49,175. The NASDAQ Composite was up 236.4 points, closing at 22,864. And the S&P 500 Index was up 52.3 points, closing at 6,890. Among companies of local interest, Apple closed at $272.14, up $5.96. Amazon, $208.56, up $3.29. Cisco, $78.14, up 40 cents. Boeing closed at $233.40, up $2.96. Caterpillar, $768.52, up $12.05. Disney, $106.07, up $1.66. ExxonMobil, $149.28, down $1.48. First Energy closed at $50.63, up 19 cents. Johnson & Johnson, $246.31, up $1.77. Home Depot, $384.48, up $7.49. Intel, $46.12, up $2.49. McDonald's closed at $333.26, down $1.30. Meta Platforms, $639.30, up $2.05. PNC Financial Services, $217.91, down $2.86. Raytheon Technologies, $198.44, down $3.48. Rockwell Automation closed at $405.51, up $17.88. Tesla, $409.38, up $9.55. Verizon, $49.87, up 19 cents. And Walmart closed at $126.75, up 94 cents. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 370.4 points, closing at 49,175. The Nasdaq Composite was up 236.4 points, closing at 22,864. And the S&P 500 Index was up 52.3 points, closing at 6,890. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all of your investment needs. This is Angie Dick.
Think about the last time you thanked yourself for something. Maybe it was that me time you took last Tuesday, or finally learning Italian. Want to do something you'll really thank yourself for later? Start creating a plan for your financial goals today. State Farm agent Nathan Ferguson is right here in Uniontown to help you look at the things you want to save for and build a plan to set you up for success. The earlier you start planning, the better off you will be. Call State Farm agent Nathan Ferguson today and thank yourself later. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Looking for a fireplace? Koval Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is more than your plumbing supply store. We specialize in fireplaces of all fuel types, such as gas, wood, pellet, and electric. We're now featuring Harmon pellet stoves from Forge and Flame, perfect for keeping your family warm and cozy. Call Koval today at 724-437-8824 or visit kovalsupply.com to start planning for the winter season. Koval Building Supply, everything you need to make your house feel like home.
Look and you'll see there's a whole new Ford for you and me. It's time.
February is Auto Show time at Thurby's Riverside Ford. That means special financing and Auto Show bonus cash on new Ford SUVs and trucks. Have you been thinking about a new 2025 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive XLT? Take advantage of 3.9% for 72 months plus $2,000 in Auto Show bonus cash during the Auto Show month. Now that's an Auto Show deal.
How about this? All new 2026 Ford Escapes come with $2,500 in Ford factory rebates. And the showstopper, the 2025 Bronco Sport Big Bend and Outer Banks with 2.9% financing and $2,000 in Ford factory rebates during Auto Show month. We have the inventory in stock and on the way.
Thurby's Riverside Ford, your presidential award-winning dealer, located on Route 40, 1 mile past the casino at Nemacolin. See Joey, Jimmy, Sammy, or Ashley. Offer ends March 2nd, 2026.
It's not just another sale, it is the February floor sample clearance at Chesler's Fine Furniture, located on Route 51 in Uniontown. There are no gimmicks involved, just great values on beautiful home fashions for every room in your house. You'll find items such as genuine Lazy Boy rocker recliners for just $429, solid oak 5-piece dinettes featuring Formica tops for $13.99. If you prefer all wood sets, they start at just $5.99. For the family room, sofas start at only $4.99 with love seats and chairs to match. Chaise sofas for relaxing comfort are priced at $6.29 and up. Chesler's has top grain leather sofas, love seats, chairs, and sectionals in stationary and reclining in stock from Lazy Boy, Best Home Furnishing, and Craftmaster. Entertainment centers are sale priced from $159. Those with an electric fireplace start at $3.99. Every piece of bedroom furniture, every piece of living room and dining room furniture, every piece of furniture at Chesler's will be on sale. Credit terms and delivery are available with 90 days same as cash.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
This is a Radio PA news update. A woman is facing charges after a teen was shot to death at an apartment in Wilkins Township early Monday. Allegheny County Police have filed involuntary manslaughter and reckless endangerment counts against 20-year-old Rayona Hextall. Witnesses reportedly told investigator Hextall was waving around a gun that belonged to another person at the residence when it went off, with a round hitting 17-year-old Nadria Marshall in the head and killing her. Authorities say Hextall has claimed that she was not the person who was handling the weapon. A man who lives in Sewickley is now in federal custody after being detained by ICE agents this past weekend. A spokesperson for the family of Bruno Guedes da Silva says authorities stopped and apprehended him near Osborne Elementary School. Western Pennsylvania Congressman Chris Deluzio says Guedes da Silva, a Brazilian native, has a valid work authorization, a social security number, and a driver's license and should not be removed from the country. He's also the father of a 6-year-old girl who's starting cancer treatments this week, according to loved ones. Democratic Congressman Chris Deluzio is also inviting an Aspinwall pharmacist to attend tonight's State of the Union address. The lawmaker says Town Drugs owner Jonathan Akanowitz has been working to change the pharmacy benefit manager system, which is driving independent drugstores out of business. Akanowitz says his goal with attending the speech is to raise awareness on the problem and bring down prescription costs for patients. And leaders at U.S. Steel are getting ready to start a major construction project at the Edgar Thomson plant in Braddock. Company officials say they have secured all the necessary permits to install a slag recycler at the property. The advanced machine can turn byproducts from steel making into useful material and significantly reduce emissions, according to corporate leaders. The new technology is expected to improve the plant's environmental footprint while also making the steel making process more efficient. The Edgar Thomson plant has been considered a cornerstone of steel production in the region for decades. I'm Juan Arango, and you're up to date with Radio PA.
It's the Afternoon Drive Show on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. I'm Doug Saltzman. Nick Barczyk. How are you, Nick?
Better now, Doug. What's going on?
I'm having Olympic withdrawal.
Adjust that.
What's the matter? You're not. Well, we want to make sure
your mug's on there.
People can see my mug on
radio's a visual medium, as we all know. Right. I know. I miss it already. Yes, it's rough. I mean, I'm just counting down the days till baseball starts. I guess we have spring training baseball.
Did they win today? They
won. Absolutely.
4-1.
They're on a roll, man.
On the preseason here.
Absolutely.
Pirates. Spring training in the dead of winter.
Yeah. Well, winter training, I don't think would get people.
No, that wouldn't do it
baseball.
for you. Yeah.
No.
Spring training. The Grapefruit League as opposed to the Cactus League.
That's right. You can eat a grapefruit.
Out in
Can you eat cactus? I guess you can. It would hurt.
It would
You have
hurt
to take
like
the
heck.
thorns
I don't
out.
know. I guess I don't know. Isn't there something in it that people eat or drink?
Who knows? Somebody out there knows, I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't often go to the desert.
No,
because there's no food there.
That's true. Go where the food is.
I like to go where the food is.
Sam Kennison.
But having some weather for the withdrawal.
Oh, I know.
There was a great interview on the last day following the USA winning the Olympic gold in hockey. And they were interviewing 3 hockey players who were in a bar and just snoggered.
They were loaded. They were loaded.
Did
Good
you
for
see
them.
it?
I did.
Oh, it was a great interview. And then some other guy comes over and sticks his head in the back.
Yeah.
And then he kind of sticks his head underneath. It was funny. And Tirico was trying to do an interview.
Yeah.
I think he finally realized, and he was good about it.
And I think it's appropriate there at the State of the Union tonight because usually we have sober people heckling. Now we're going to have drunks heckling tonight.
What?
Because there's no way they're going to sober up by tonight.
Yeah,
I mean, the NHL resumes this week. I mean, Jack Hughes, who scored the game-winning goal, will be in Pittsburgh.
We'll be in Pittsburgh.
Night.
I'm going to the
And
game Thursday.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, he'll still be hammered.
Yeah.
He won't remember any of it, but he'll get a nice ovation. And what a story. And we stole hockey from Canada.
Yes,
I mean,
we did.
They have nothing now. They don't have hockey. The tariffs.
I was surprised.
We've ruined them.
If I'd have thought about it, I'd have known it. That's the 3rd gold they've won, the USA. 1920, 1980, 2026.
That's amazing.
I guess I thought they had won others. Obviously, the Russians weren't part of this.
No, they were not.
They weren't permitted to be there.
They may come back for 2028 and 2030. That's what the IOC said, but not this year. And it was amazing. The Olympics were amazing. The ratings were great. I do miss them. They were fun.
And I have a feeling the Emmy Awards have to give some special recognition to NBC and also the pilots of the drones.
Yes.
Whoever were operating these drones.
Phenomenal.
Wow. And they don't just go on their own. They have to be.
Especially,
there's one thing to be going down a ski slope following somebody. You've got a lot of space. But going down the luge, bobsled, and skeleton tracks, following these guys.
Yeah, they do such a phenomenal job, and the technology is
and it's
unreal.
crystal clear.
It is amazing.
You know, I'm old enough to remember they would show like a bank robber, and they would have this grainy black and white photo of the guy.
That's right.
Could have been me.
Yeah.
It never
back
was.
in the day, yes, when the Olympics or any event, they'd have one camera, it was fixed, it didn't move.
Yeah.
And that was it. And now, I mean, they have more cameras to do one regular season baseball game than they used to do to have the Super Bowl and the Olympics.
Right.
So the technology is amazing.
Yeah, and I thought Tirico did a nice job.
He's
the
phenomenal,
other analysts did okay.
Yeah, the hockey guys were great. Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk.
How about Eddie Olczyk? Best thing ever happened, getting fired by the Penguins.
That's right.
In his
Absolutely.
career.
Absolutely. He survived cancer. Great guy.
No, they and to have the game end that way. Let's hope. I don't know. They haven't said whether Sid's playing Thursday or not.
He may be out for a while, but that's a shame. It's a shame he couldn't play in the gold medal game. Canada maybe would have won.
There's all the arguments. Oh, the Olympics. Why should he be in these exhibition games?
Oh, please.
Well, yeah, exactly. These are not exhibition games.
What's going to be more exciting?
Yeah.
That U.S.-Canada gold medal game or a random Tuesday night Buffalo-Detroit game?
Yeah, it is. They were saying it might be one of the greatest games ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you have the greatest players.
Yeah, it was 2-1. It was riveting. It went to overtime. That goalie.
How about the
Hellebuck
other
was
games?
amazing.
How many went to overtime?
Oh, my God. The women's game did. The gold medal game. It was riveting television.
That was great to see. That'll help women's soccer take an increase.
Yeah.
Women's hockey take an increase.
Too. Yeah.
I was mixing up football and soccer.
Well,
those terms.
It's natural.
But no, I think it'll be an increase in young girls getting interested in playing hockey. One game I was watching and
curling was great.
That was the biggest controversy.
Sweden won the gold medal.
Canada was cheating in curling.
Oh, were they double touching?
Double touching. That was the big controversy of the Olympics.
Sounds dirty.
I don't know what that is. I've done curling.
You've been accused of double touching. Right?
I deny.
In the bar. Yeah.
I've tried curling. It's very difficult. It looks silly and not complicated. It is.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Were you throwing it or were you sweeping?
I was the sweeper.
Oh, I see.
And, I was a little of everything because I had never done it before. Out on the Neville Island where RMU has their...
Robert Morris, Bobby Moe.
Has their hockey facility.
Can anyone do it? Can you show up one day?
A friend of mine's in this league, and he said, "Why don't you come on? It's practice night." And the one guy who was their captain said, "Yeah, you need more than just one night of practice."
Well, it's not like bowling, which you've been doing every week for 50 years.
Had a good night last night bowling.
You had a good night?
I had a 203, a 177, and a 204.
Oh, my gosh.
One of my better nights of the year. My average is way down this year. My average at the end of last season was 188. It's now 178. So I'm down 10 pins. Well, but our team's doing okay. We took 5 points.
Oh, well.
And for that, folks, you play 3 games, and if you win a game, you get 2 points. You take total pins, you get another point. So we took 5 of 7 points.
Sounds good. When's the pizza and beer night? I'll show up that night.
Yeah. That's last night was what they call the money ball. Everybody puts in a buck.
Oh, I see.
And if they draw your name, if you throw a strike in the third frame of the third game, you win the money.
Oh, wow.
And they picked my name, and I left the 5 pin, which you should not leave.
No.
Yeah. And people laughed at me and yelled and everybody bellows as loud as they can.
Oh,
to
it's
try
bowling,
to distract you.
Those crazy bowlers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, actually, you have to get a strike in the third frame of the third game and the 6th frame of the third game. And so once you miss the third frame, forget it. Yeah.
Forget it.
But it was up to like $250. I've been providing pizza and beer for everybody.
More than the 50-50 it's a Pirate games if they have low attendance on a weeknight.
So we'll see how the Buccos do. Yeah, they are
Let's
up
go
to
Bucks. Yeah. Just hope Paul Skeens doesn't get hurt in the World Baseball Classic, but I'm
another
excited for
exhibition
that.
game. Horrible.
Yes,
Why should they play?
I'm excited for that. And
that's exactly.
more sports on TV, if you ask me.
Sports.
That's all I care about.
Isn't that what Homer Simpson says?
That's
sports,
right.
Sports. I almost said Homer Bohm. Homer Bohm, who if he survived his death, he'd be about 120. He used to bowl with us in our league.
He didn't survive his death?
I said, had he survived his death.
I was going to say
Homer
he
Bohm.
didn't.
We had some great bowlers over the years, great names. It's the Bethlehem Lutheran Church Men's Bowling League. We had Homer Bohm.
You know those Lutheran bowlers.
Ellsworth Pyle.
Oh, that's a good one.
Herky Yeckel. Oh, yeah, these are great bowler names.
Don Fred. That was your uncle.
Don Fred. We had Don Fred, Bob Elmer, Ralph George.
Yeah,
that's my
RG.
dad. God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. That's awesome.
So there we go. That's we're hoping tomorrow to have another Olympic athlete on.
When men were men. Wow.
Jasmine Jones.
Oh, from Hempfield.
Yeah, from Hempfield.
Bobsled. She won a medal, right?
Greensburg won bronze.
Oh, that's amazing.
In 2-person bobsled.
Wow.
She was the pusher, I guess, is
the
what
pusher.
they call that.
Well, that's awesome, Doug. Look at you.
Yeah. So we're trying to work that out.
If you can get 2 Olympians on.
Not bad.
You got to get a raise.
Not bad. Oh, yeah, I got to get a raise. Can't go any lower.
We legally can't get
you
any
can't
lower.
pay me any lower. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
I think this is the only show on the station that's had an Olympian on, and if you get 2, you'll double up everyone else.
There we go. Yeah. So we'll see how that comes along. And today we're going to talk to Steve Blass.
Bill Mazeroski
talk about Bill Maz. We'll talk to Bill. But first, we're going to come. This is an interesting topic here after the news break at the bottom, news and the commercial break at the bottom of the hour. This is really changing the topic here. You talk about Olympics to this. There are illegal vapes coming in from China. How about that?
Well, there's some connection there, I'm sure.
I don't know what it would be, but we're going to check in and talk about that issue and how they're really focused. They're trying to sell these things to kids, and they're doing it online. So all that will be coming up today. We're with you till 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to bounce around all kind of topics.
That's right.
You name it, and we're going to talk about it. So yeah, this is get the words out here, Doug. This is very interesting. These topics. Rich Mariano is his name, and we're going to be checking in with him. He is a let me get this right. He is head of the Tobacco Law Enforcement Network. He's a former ATF officer and a current professor at Georgetown University. We're going to talk to him
the Hoyas.
About the kids are under attack by dangerous illegal vapes from China, and President Trump's making it a priority. And there's legislation in Pennsylvania that will help on this issue. It's bipartisan in nature. So we'll be talking to Rich coming up at 5:35. But before we do that, we're going to hit that news brief coming up here in just a few moments on the Afternoon Drive Show. I'm Doug. That's Nick. It is 32 degrees.
Right at freezing.
That's outside our Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law Studios. It should never get warmer than another 50 degrees.
That's right.
Yeah, no, 40 degrees. So 72 is the warmest it should ever get.
Sleeping weather? Yeah.
Exactly. So they'll all be coming up on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line. Stick around. We're with you till 8 o'clock tonight. And then America's Best Music tonight, right? State of the Union at 9. Oh, that's right. State of the Union at 9 o'clock, of course. News.
CBS News Brief. President Trump at 9 o'clock tonight Eastern Time will deliver the State of the Union address. Dozens of Democrats say they will not attend, and to that, GOP Senator Rick Scott of Florida responds.
I attended Biden's speeches. I thought they were horrible. I thought he didn't do a good job as president. I think he destroyed our economy, but I showed up. I think you should respect the Constitution, respect the presidency, and show up.
Authorities say a man fatally stabbed 4 people outside a home northwest of Tacoma, Washington. A sheriff's spokesperson says when a deputy arrived on the scene,
we have the adult male suspect was shot by the deputy
and has died. Savannah Guthrie says her family is offering a reward for the recovery of their mother, Nancy. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti reports.
It marks a transition from a potential search effort to a recovery mission. Savannah Guthrie saying that her family is now offering a $1 million reward.
CBS News Brief, I'm Jennifer Kuiper.
The Roman Catholic Churches of Southern Fayette invite you to join us for the celebration of the Eucharist at one of our weekend Masses. The updated Mass schedule is as follows. Saturday Vigil Masses will be celebrated at 4 o'clock St. Therese, 4 o'clock St. Hubert in Point Marion, and 4:30 St. Mary. Sunday morning Masses will be celebrated at 7:30 St. Joseph, 8:30 St. Mary, 9 o'clock St. Cyril and Methodius in Fairchance, 10 o'clock St. Joseph, 10:30 St. John, and 11 o'clock St. Therese. A Sunday evening Mass will be celebrated at 5 p.m. at St. John. A rebroadcast of the Mass from St. Therese will air on WMBS on Sunday after the news at noon. Please check out our website, facesouth.org, for more information.
Ready to score big on your next home? Well, great news. Huge savings are waiting for you at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. From open floor plans perfect for game day parties to energy-efficient homes that will help you save money all season long, these homes are built to deliver. Don't wait on the sidelines. Make the winning play today and find the home that fits your family and lifestyle. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon at 4500 Route 51.
Experiencing symptoms of COPD? Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale has been selected to conduct a clinical research study, and participants are needed. All study-related care will be provided at no cost, and no health insurance is required. Compensation up to $2,200 for qualified participants for time and travel. To learn more, call Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale at 724-220-5281. That's Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale at 724-220-5281.
Keppelgraft Funeral Home salutes the troops who are serving our country. Let's give them the gift of life they deserve by donating blood today. Help protect the men and women in uniform who keep us safe. This message from Keppelgraft Funeral Home, who has served the Greensburg area and surrounding communities with care and compassion since 1912. In your time of need, call 724-837-1201. That's 724-837-1201 or online at keppelgraft.com.
If you are looking for a trusted local law firm with a strong commitment to their clients, look no further than Zebley Law Offices. Attorney Zebley has been practicing law in Fayette County for more than 4 decades. Although specializing in bankruptcy, Zebley also handles real estate matters, civil suits, collections, wills, powers of attorney, and more. If you need legal help, go with a name you recognize and trust. Call Zebley Law Offices today at 724-439-9200.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles, and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Do they ever say the word cashmere anywhere in this song?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think they do either. That's Cashmere from Led Zeppelin, of course. You know, I'm hoping they'll go back on tour.
Oh, I'd love that. I don't think John Bonham will be there, but
No,
and
John.
they refuse to tour without him, so I doubt it's going to happen.
And with John's
Robert
no longer.
Plant's doing his solo career. He's with the Alison Krauss, is her name?
Alison Krauss.
They were at the Pavilion at Star Lake. I somehow missed it last time.
Yeah, why did you miss that?
I
we
was
were waiting
probably
for you to give us
working.
your music review, and you weren't there for it.
That's right. Scott Mervis was
but
there,
I never
think.
saw Led Zeppelin. They were
Is
done
that right?
before I had a chance. So
What
a
a
lot of
shame.
bands over these. You used to see a lot up in Toronto because I lived up in Erie for college.
Oh, is that right?
We'd have good deals and go up there. We'd feel international.
There you go.
Heading up
Springsteen coming in May. I already have the tickets.
Oh, do you really? Good for
I
you.
mean, my
man.
dad and I are
I've
going.
seen him several times over
Oh,
the
yeah.
years.
He's the best.
I saw him at the Stanley Theater in downtown Pittsburgh, which
I
seats
bet
like
it was
3,000.
$5 to get in back
They-
then.
They made him stop playing.
Curfew.
Yes, because Pittsburgh used to have this rule that concerts couldn't go so long. After like 4 hours, he finally... They
That's
said,
great.
"You finish the song up, you're done."
That's great.
Yeah, Springsteen. Whether you agree with his politics or not, you got to love his music.
Yeah, who cares?
Absolutely. Very pleased right now. Joining us on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, former ATF agent, and we're going to talk about an issue that is unfortunately becoming very important to a lot of folks. Illegal vapes coming from China. They're selling these to kids. And joining us, head of the Tobacco Law Enforcement Network, as I mentioned, former ATF officer, current Georgetown professor, Rich Marianos. Rich, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time, sir. How are you?
Great, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, it's this issue. It seems every third block anymore, you're seeing a vape store. And for some reason, like bright lights. When you drive past these things, and I guess they've done some market research that attracts people in. But this is very different. This is not stores. I guess this is online stuff coming from China. Is that correct?
Well, a lot of the products that are being sold at those stores, those vape stores, those smoke shops, are coming from China. They're 100% illegal, contraband, and they're manufactured and designed to make money off the backs of Americans and addict our children.
Yeah, that's when vaping first came out, and the talk was, oh, these are not addictive. This is safer than smoking. Tell us the truth. You see somebody using them. You see the parts laying on the ground all the time. They seem to be littered everywhere. This is not a safe alternative, is it?
Well, there's two types. There are those that are regulated, like 40 to 50 some products that are regulated by the FDA for tobacco harm reduction to get people away from combustible smoking and give them a safer alternative. But now 9 out of 10 of these vapes that are manufactured in China, that are sold at these smoke shops, that are catered to kids or catered to Tutti Frutti, Skittles, the marketing with the Simpsons, those are the dangerous ones. They're unregulated. No one knows what's in them. They're being smuggled into the country through illegal commerce, even through the cartels in Mexico. So the unregulated ones are the most dangerous, and those are 9 out of 10 right now that are being used on our streets.
Yeah. So why are they so readily available? Is there just so much of it out there in so many stores that would have to be investigated, that these things simply are available and the stores are simply taking their chance to sell these illegal items?
Well, they're doing it right now with impunity because they took over in a blitzkrieg fashion. These shops popped up, just like you said when you introduced me, that you can't go anywhere without hitting a 9-iron and hitting one of these shops. The problem is now there's so many of them that we need to have a comprehensive law enforcement approach to disrupt this market and get them out of the marketplace. Now, the sad part with these shops is it's not only these criminal vapes, it's all the other things that they're involved in. If you go on our site, the tobaccolawenforcement.com site, you'll see some of the different unintended crimes that are also involved in this. These shops are involved in trade-based money laundering because they're making over $300 billion a year on the backs of our country. They're involved in selling other narcotics. They're in possession of guns. They're involved in human trafficking. And examples of these, I'm not shooting off, facts that I can't prove. If you go into a store in El Paso that was recently hit by law enforcement, and they had a tunnel dug underneath the shop, which they were bringing in money, narcotics, and humans to smuggle into the United States. This isn't anecdotal. This is all based on evidence, and it's important for your listeners to understand that these shops are the new face of organized crime.
Yeah, I mean, you could not put a tunnel in and move this product if it wasn't bringing in a lot of money. When you think about tunnels being dug, you think about that being across a border somewhere to get illegal drugs across the border into the United States. You don't think of vape shops. But to go to that level, obviously there's a lot of money to be made here illegally.
Absolutely. And when you think about these shops that are involved in trade-based money laundering, tithing criminal organizations overseas, or organized crime in China, or some form of terrorist organizations, or the cartel, we're talking about high-value targets. These aren't your normal everyday crooks, and these stores aren't mom-and-pop operations. They're very sophisticated, they're tied into one another, and they're just flaunting their criminal activity in front of us as the American public.
Yeah. Just in December, Governor Shapiro signed into law legislation that was introduced by State Rep Gene McNeil. And it's been described in an editorial that I'm taking a look at right now by Chris Rosler, just saying it was common sense. It was bipartisan, and it created a directory, which obviously your organization, I'm guessing, supported this legislation. But tell us what this nicotine electronic cigarette directory does and why this legislation was so important.
Well, it's extremely important, and my hands are clapping right now for the government of taking this bipartisan initiative. I wish we could do more of this around the United States. But why it's so important is our organization and law enforcement around the country that we work in supports registries, because registries allow those that are doing everything right to be on the register and sell these as tobacco harm reduction devices. It also allows a document, a file, a registered business practice to identify those ones that are doing wrong in commerce, that are selling these products with impunity, and it allows law enforcement to go in there and take aggressive action, whether it's taking the license, whether it's arresting the offenders, whether it's gigantic fines. But it gives law enforcement the ability to disrupt these things, because when they are disrupted and they're out of the community, we see less of a chance of what I talked about before, the possession of narcotics, the guns, the money laundering, or our children being addicted to these things.
Busts have happened at vape shops, not far from our station, Murraysville and Cannonsburg. One in Westmoreland County, another one in Washington County. And as this op-ed piece here shows, it shows how illegal vapes on the store shelves are sold alongside perhaps other legal drugs or illegal drugs or legal vapes. I guess that's the issue. They kind of blend in with the legal stuff they're selling at these stores, correct?
Yeah, they try to. I was just in a place last week in another state where I visited 5 shops in the morning, and I saw only 6 of the legal products, and everything else, the 9,000 that were in the place, were all illegal, and they were all combined with synthetic narcotics like the Caroom, the Delta-8, the synthetic hemp, the synthetic CBD, all designed to get people, whether it's high, whether it's sick, it's all unregulated products that are dangerous for our communities. This is not like a dispensary where a doctor gives you a prescription and says you need this for a medical treatment. These are all unregulated items combined with the vapes, combined with the crime, that are making hand over fist money that we've never seen before. We've seen dope dealers get out of the narcotics business to jump into the vape game. And what I equate it to is, it is like your corner crack house. But instead of just being there involved with guns and narcotics and money, these are being licensed by the communities. And that's what we need to do, is understand they're no dangerous. You hit it right on the head with these illegal products, illegal narcotics, and all the other things that are happening in these places that need to be stopped. And the first way to do it is the registries, you're completely right, and then a great law enforcement strategy to hit these places and disrupt them.
Yeah. We are talking with Professor Rich Marianos from Georgetown University, head of the Tobacco Law Enforcement Network, a former ATF officer as well. Your background, obviously, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, ATF. You hear about that. Obviously, this was started. That agency's been around for quite some time. Most folks have probably seen instances of it in movies and realize that's not exactly what ATF does. But your background in that obviously made you an expert on working for this network. Tell us what the Tobacco Law Enforcement Network is.
Well, it is designed to work with partners, law enforcement, state government, federal government, in educating them the dangers, and also provide successful solutions, and also things that are happening around the country that people have had, issues with or haven't done right. We want to give them a place to develop ideas, get the correct training, put the successful partners together with one another. Like right now, we talk about Pennsylvania in their registry. It's fantastic. We use those politicians and what has been done there as a beacon for how to do things right. In terms of enforcement, we talk about Texas, how they're enforcing these laws and going after these criminals as well as anyone. But our job is, to work with industry, convenience stores, law enforcement, moms, school counselors, school resource officers. We have a plethora of people we work together with to try to solve this problem because, again, it's an epidemic. And if you go into some schools nowadays and you talk to parents, they will tell you their biggest concern is the vaping issue. They're no longer worried about cyberbullying. They're not worried about guns in the school. They're not worried about narcotics. Their biggest threat to public health and public safety is these vapes and their kids going into these vape stores or ingesting these dangerous Chinese devices.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of us, me included, that don't fully understand what a vape is, what the difference is, what an e-cigarette is versus a vape, and what they can do to you if they're used even correctly, the legal vape. So tell us the difference, if you would, for a moment, of e-cigarettes versus vapes.
Well, you can talk in terms of both because an e-cigarette also is part of a vape technology, but it's designed as a nicotine delivery system, or in some cases, it's just a flavored vape system to get people away from that sensation of smoking or getting people away from combustible cigarettes. The ones that we're talking about are legal, and I'm holding one in my hand. It's a Elf Bar watermelon ice. We talked about the flavors, but it has 7,000 puffs, made in China, no regulation, smuggled into the United States. And you can imagine young adults using these things or sucking on these things to 7,000 puffs. It's equivalent to multiple packs or cartons of cigarettes. And that's where the danger comes into play, is the high concentration of nicotine in these illegal vape products, the ones that are unregulated. And that's what people need to understand. Regulation, the ones that are in the registry have a function. They're designed to get people away. But these other, pure criminal, designed by criminals, sold by criminals, distributed by criminals, and need to be pursued as criminals.
Yeah. It just seemed to come out of nowhere, I guess, suddenly. I mean, obviously, there's been legislation against smoking in public places and in schools. I'm 62 years old. I remember having a high school teacher who smoked while he taught. You think of I tell that to my kids, and they said, "No way." I'm like, "Yeah." And there were complaints, so they worked out a deal where he would smoke near the window and hold his cigarette out the window. A different era, but all of a sudden, it wasn't as if the days when legislation passed that you couldn't smoke in a restaurant, couldn't smoke in a hospital. People scratch their heads when they think about that. I had a dentist that used to smoke. It didn't come immediately after that law was passed, but it seemed to come out of nowhere. Suddenly, these vape stores popping up everywhere. What do you think suddenly prompted all these? Was it simply the technology suddenly became available and cheap to create them? Or was it more what's coming from overseas?
Well, it's what's coming from overseas, and it's also in a very aggressive marketing campaign by these Chinese criminals through social media that has created a sensation for young adults to think it's cool, and to creates an environment in which, hey, it's what everybody's doing, so we're going to do it too. If you go on social media, you'll see, hundreds and hundreds of examples of, young girls, young guys, fun, cool people, different music stars that are vaping right now, and it attracts those young adults. But the problem is the truth lies between somewhere of what is regulated and what isn't, what is been authorized and what is not authorized. And we have to keep ourselves on the ball. You brought it up. We've even seen it, just until recently, and it's went up almost 1,000% in the last 5 years of young adults using these things. Cigarette smoking with kids is down to its lowest level ever before. But you turn your head around the corner, and these vapes, as treacherous as they are, the Chinese criminal vapes, are right in the forefront, and it's something that we need to deal with. And it's not a situation where, I'm just selling, cigarettes to kids. It's these vape shops that are involved in a plethora of criminal activity that are a threat to public health and public safety that need to be dealt with. And what we don't want, and I say this again when we teach these cops, we don't want to get behind this issue. We don't want to be in a situation where we were behind crack cocaine or behind fentanyl and trying to catch up to what do we do? We know this is a problem. We know this is an issue. We know where they're getting it from. We know how it's getting in. We know where it's being sold. This is our time. This is our opportunity to put these people out of the game and make ourselves better, from schools to community groups to law enforcement to our politicians. It's not something that's just going to be tackled on a one-shot deal.
Yeah, the laws surrounding cigarette smoking for minors is very interesting. Obviously, you're not supposed to. It's illegal to sell cigarettes to minors. And however, if a police officer sees somebody clearly underage smoking, that can't be enforced, right? It's very interesting. You can't buy it, but once you got it, it's not illegal to use it. Am I wrong on that? It just seems very strange when you see that.
Yeah, you're never going to see any cop that's going to enforce that because, it's almost like a victimless crime. But what we can direct those police resources to are these stores, are these shops. They're not paying taxes. They're involved in everything else. Let's not punish the children, okay? That does no good. It's like punishing the addict instead of going after the seller to narcotics. So we need to gear a better way of demand reduction with our kids to teach them and focus our enforcement activities on these shops.
Yeah, we've been talking with Rich Marianos. I'm taking a look at your bio here. Absolutely amazing. Of course, what you've done in 2001, you were selected to supervise the Joint Terrorist Task Force at the Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City. You were an incident commander and led the ATF in the shooting investigation at Columbine. You have a background in law enforcement and service to our country. If it's not second to none, it's darn close. Absolutely amazing resume. Rich, we'd like to have you on again sometime to continue this conversation. And want to thank Vince Gelko for putting it together for us today. Interesting stuff. I mean, we see these stores everywhere, and you just assume when you see it, okay, well, it's shining bright. It's wide open to the public. Stuff must be legal, everything they're selling. That's far from the truth, I guess, correct?
You're absolutely right. And it's important for people like yourself to get the message out because there are a lot of people that just drive by and think, well, if they're open and they've been granted a license, they're legitimate or they're not breaking any law or there is a problem here. And it is such an issue that in September, if your listeners remember or you want to go back and, reflect for a moment, when the Attorney General, along with RFK, went out to Chicago at a warehouse and they conducted one of the largest busts in the United States history of these products coming in from China. As a result of that, there is over $200 million sitting here in Washington that needs to be distributed to the law enforcement community, whether it's local, state, to address this issue. And I would ask your listeners and yourself, if you have any connection or anyone that can help get that money out of D.C., please make those phone calls and support it because I have no stake in the game, or does anybody that I work with other than the police departments that want to go out there and do the right thing or the schools that want to get this stuff out of the hands of our kids.
Yeah. Again, tell us the website for your organization if folks want to get more information.
It's www.enforcetobaccolaws.com. Enforce Tobacco Laws is one sentence. Get on it, take a look. Anything you can use there, there's no silos, nothing is protected. It is all designed to help whatever your role in this thing is, because that's what we want to do is get the message out and work with the right people to come up with a solution. Everybody in the organization likes working to put organized crime down. That was, one of our mantras when we were young agents or young police officers. So, it makes us feel good when we can put some of these crews together and, put them down for the count.
Yeah. Rich, thanks for joining us today and for your 27 years of service at the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. We appreciate it very much. You have a good evening.
Thank you so much for your time. You have a great evening and look forward to working with you again.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break here, folks. When we come back, news at 6 on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
When you need notary services, trust the best. Sandy Howell Notary Services, back-to-back gold medal winner for Best Notary in Fayette County. They're here for you with extended hours to fit your schedule. Sandy Howell's also the 2025 gold medal winner for Best Title Company. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 8:30, and Saturdays, 9 to 5. Call 724-564-8955 today for Sandy Howell Notary Services, where excellence is signed and sealed.
Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott in Uniontown is a proud sponsor of Sportsline. When you work with Janie, it's about going beyond investing. It's about connecting your life and your finances in a way that makes sense for you. The team partners with you through each stage of life to help you set and reach your financial goals. To learn more about the Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group at Janie, be sure to check out their website at www.lhwag.com. Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has two convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Borge Jr.
That's a wrap for the first hour of the afternoon drive show on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. I'm Doug Saltzman. That's Nick Barczyk. Don't forget Steve Blass is coming up. We'll talk about Maz.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. When asked about tonight's State of the Union address, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president...
He will, of course, lay out a very ambitious agenda, I think, for the working people of this country to make America more affordable and prosperous and safe and make the American dream more attainable.
CBS News has learned that President Trump will call for another tax cut, corporate and personal. In the latest CBS News poll, asked how they'd describe the state of the country if they could give the address tonight, most Americans would use the word divided. Republicans are more optimistic. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi.
What the president will be delivering tonight not only allows him to reset how Americans may feel about him, his handling of the economy and immigration, but gives those talking points to Republicans on Capitol Hill, what they can bring back to their districts to talk about how they feel this administration is doing and allow them to give themselves a winning argument for 2026.
Expected at tonight's State of the Union address, the Olympic gold medal winning USA men's hockey team. The Air Force confirms that members of the team flew on a C-32 aircraft at the request of President Trump. At least 4 people are dead after a mass stabbing outside of a home near Tacoma, Washington. CBS's Allison Keyes.
The Pierce County Sheriff's Office says deputies were on the scene minutes after the stabbing was reported and that the suspect and 3 others were dead at the scene and a 4th person died on the way to the hospital. Officials say there was a no-contact order against the 32-year-old suspect, but it had not yet been served prior to the attack.
Savannah Guthrie says her family is offering a reward of up to $1 million for the recovery of their mother, Nancy. Guthrie says the family understands that their mother may not be alive, but are holding on to hope.
Every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony.
Sources close to the investigation tell CBS News DNA recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's house may not provide enough evidence to help identify suspects. An American Airlines 737 MAX 8 that flew from Miami to Medellin, Colombia Sunday evening was later found with an apparent bullet hole in the right wing aileron. American Airlines says there were no injuries and a temporary fix was made so that the plane could return to the U.S. with passengers and for more repairs. The CIA is looking for informants in Iran. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
As President Trump weighs potential military strikes, the CIA has posted a message on X, YouTube, and Instagram with instructions in Farsi on how to safely contact U.S. intelligence. The post racked up millions of views in just a few hours. More U.S. talks with Iran on its nuclear program are expected to take place later this week.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Well, much cooler temperatures are here, but you could still enjoy your deck or patio with retractable or fixed awnings from Lifetime Awnings. Made in the USA with manufacturer and customer guarantees, Lifetime Awnings products last. Lifetime Awnings is veteran-owned and operated with a 10% discount to all military veterans and their families. Call Lifetime Awnings 724-554-6067 for a no-cost or obligation home consultation. Or email John, the owner, at lifetimeawningsusa@gmail.com.
Ready to update your home? Find what you need at Zen's Construction Warehouse. Their friendly, knowledgeable staff will be happy to help you the old-fashioned way. Zen's is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5:30, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 2. 485 Walnut Hill Road in Continental. Zen's Construction Warehouse, 724-366-8274. Or visit Zen's Construction Warehouse's Facebook page.
Zen's Construction Warehouse. Our surplus. Your savings.
Police are investigating after a huge snowball fight broke out during yesterday's blizzard in New York City. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez.
Police were called in when things got out of hand in Greenwich Village, but the mob, caught on FNTV video, didn't care. It was pure pandemonium as they pelted NYPD officers right out of Washington Square Park. Before they got in their squad cars, they warned the crowd, which numbered in the hundreds, to enjoy themselves but not to target drivers. The police commissioner issued a statement calling the behavior disgraceful and criminal. Another group of officers spotted chucking snowballs at each other near a smiling snowman on Park Avenue. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News, New York.
Warner Brothers Discovery says that CBS owner Paramount Skydance has raised the price of its takeover offer to $31 per share, potentially setting the stage for a fresh bidding war with Netflix. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. And now the news.
Good evening. It is 30 degrees at 6:05 on a Tuesday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis Studios in Uniontown. Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law voted Fayette County's best law firm 2025. Your local station, WMBS, the Weather Watch, and sports in a bit. Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro is set to meet with farmers and state agriculture officials tonight to discuss concerns about rising bird flu cases in the state. Since the start of this year, 2026, more than 7 million birds in commercial and backyard flocks in Pennsylvania have been affected by avian flu outbreaks. United States Department of Agriculture data shows that information. Most of those cases have been reported in commercial flocks in Lancaster. The governor's office says that Pennsylvania has lost upwards of 14 million birds since the current bird flu outbreak first started in 2022. Shapiro announced this month that over 40 USDA employees were dispatched to the state of Pennsylvania to help dozens of state employees working to mitigate the spread of bird flu. Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday praised efforts made by local and federal law enforcement agencies in southwest Pennsylvania this week for a record-breaking illegal firearm seizure. In January, Sunday said law enforcement seized over 40 firearms throughout Fayette, Somerset, Westmoreland, and Allegheny counties. Two of the biggest seizures of illegal guns happened in Fayette and Somerset County. In the Fayette case, which is still an ongoing investigation, officials seized more than a dozen illegal guns along with fentanyl, powder cocaine, and crack cocaine. So far, 9 people have been arrested in connection with about 20 cases involving the illegally possessed guns. PennDOT has announced that part of the Parkway East near the Squirrel Hill Tunnel will close around the clock from July 10th to August 3rd so that the new Commercial Street Bridge can be installed. Crews have been constructing the new bridge for about 2 years now. It will be slid into place to align with the lanes of the Parkway. PennDOT says that project is expected to be done by next summer, the summer of 2027. Breeze Airways announced this week new nonstop service between Pittsburgh and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, starting July 3rd. The new route will operate twice weekly on Mondays and Fridays. One-way fares for the direct flights will start at $39. The service connects Pittsburgh International Airport to one of the most popular summer vacation spots in the region. Someone won over $500,000 instantly on a fast play game sold in Westmoreland County. The Pennsylvania Lottery says a progressive top prize winning making money game worth over $535,500 was sold at a Sunoco gas station in Salem Township last night. Making Money is a $20 fast-to-play game with progressive top prizes starting at $400,000 that prints on demand from a sales terminal or a self-service touchscreen terminal. The gas station gets a $5,000 bonus for selling that winning ticket. Some senators are unveiling new legislation that would mandate the White House issue tariff refunds.
The bill would require the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection to pay refunds up to $175 billion for all unlawfully collected duties. It's after the Supreme Court ruled President Trump's implementation of sweeping tariffs exceeded his authority under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The bill sets a deadline of 180 days after enactment for the administration to process all refunds and requires CBP to pay interest. The measure would also require CBP to report to Congress every 30 days on the status of refunds until all the fees are paid back. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
More next on WMPS.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
And no sports this evening on WMBS. We'll bring you the Pitt Stanford basketball game tomorrow night at 7:30. Pirates with a spring training win today, and we'll have Bucco baseball for you this weekend. Now the weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania right now at 30 degrees. Overnight low this evening down to 27. Chance of snow flurries moving in Wednesday, going up to 49 in the afternoon. Overnight low below freezing at 28. Sunny Thursday at 45. Low dropping down to 27. For the weekend, warming up considerably up to 57 with sun Friday and into the mid-60s, 65 on Saturday with the threat of some afternoon rain. Overnight low at 34, then dropping down to 39 for a high with some snow flurries moving in Sunday, the 1st of March, and only up to 34 for the high temperature on Monday. Right now it's 6:10. We're looking at 30 degrees outside of our Davis & Davis studios in Uniontown on this Tuesday evening. And good evening from the Davis & Davis studios at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. More of the Afternoon Drive Show with Doug Saltzman next on WMBS. Good evening.
The local, district, and statewide news was brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51.
In 1986, the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville was started with a promise to provide clients with truthful, friendly, and courteous service. It worked. With an expanded client base, the Firestone Insurance Agency's customers are now able to choose from over 20 well-known insurance companies. So whether it be auto, home, business, or life, Firestone has you covered, and the promise to provide truthful, friendly, and courteous service is still in place. As an independent insurance agency, the Firestone Insurance Agency works for you. They do the shopping for you to save you time and a bunch of needless phone calls. Because let's face it, no one loves to shop for insurance. Call the office at 724-455-3900 or visit firestoneinsurance.net. Can't make it to Normalville? Let the Firestone Insurance Agency bring service right to your kitchen table. The Firestone Insurance Agency, 724-455-3900 or firestoneinsurance.net. Doing what is right for the customer, finding the most affordable rates while making sure there are no coverage gaps so you are fully protected from the unforeseen.
Keppelgraft Funeral Home salutes the troops who are serving our country. Let's give them the gift of life they deserve by donating blood today. Help protect the men and women in uniform who keep us safe. This message from Keppelgraft Funeral Home, who has served the Greensburg area and surrounding communities with care and compassion since 1912. In your time of need, call 724-837-1201. That's 724-837-1201 or online at keppelgraft.com.
Experiencing symptoms of COPD? Frontier Clinical Research in Scottdale has been selected to conduct a clinical research study, and participants are needed. All study-related care will be provided at no cost, and no health insurance is required. Compensation up to $2,200 for qualified participants for time and travel. To learn more, call Frontier Clinical Research in Scottdale at 724-220-5281. That's Frontier Clinical Research in Scottdale at 724-220-5281.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't.
For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the better business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
It's the Afternoon Drive Show on the local station, WMBS Uniontown. Doug Saltzman here at the mic. Nick Barczyk over there at the controls.
In theory.
I've decided today to let you talk on the air.
Oh, thank gosh.
No
It's in my contract.
Absolutely.
I get the last word.
No, you don't get that word at all. But no, we don't have that sort of thing here at this station. There are stations that do, certainly TV stations.
There are people that I've heard that have that, and I would love to name them, but I'm a nice guy.
You are a nice guy,
I'm
Nick.
sober.
You're not much to look at.
No, not at all.
You're
That's why I got in the
definitely
radio.
You're definitely a nice guy.
Well, thanks, Doug.
State of the Union tonight. Over the years, I think the impact of the State of the Union has lessened because you can hear from politicians all the time anymore.
Right.
You can go on social media. They send out emails nonstop. When I think back in the days of my working for Arlen Specter, to get media, you had to do a news conference. You had to have a good backdrop. You had to have a good topic. And if you didn't have all that, they wouldn't give you much coverage.
You'd have big satellite cameras and the hot lights, and now you just need a phone with Facebook Live.
Right, and you can crank it up. But I think this one's a little different. And tomorrow, actually, we're going to talk to Dr. Jerry Schuster, University of Pittsburgh, a expert on all things when it comes to presidential rhetoric. And rhetoric has one of those terms people think it's all negative. There's good rhetoric, there's neutral rhetoric. It's just the way people talk.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to him about the impact and why tonight's, I think, is more important than perhaps past ones by presidents from either party, simply because we're in uncharted territory here of a second-term president who had a gap between his first and second terms. And we're, at this point, only a little over 8 months away from the midterm election in November, 7 months away from when people can start voting.
And I'm not sure many people remember Grover Cleveland. I'm guessing nobody was alive that is alive now for that. So, yeah, you're right. This is unprecedented in anyone's lifetime.
I think you're right, Nick.
Just wanted to throw that out there. No disrespect to President Cleveland. We got to get his name out there.
That's right. You have to get it. I didn't work for him.
No.
I did meet a woman about 40 years ago who campaigned for him.
Wow, and couldn't vote for him.
Couldn't vote for him because women didn't have the right to vote. I think a lot of people forget the women's right to vote didn't come in the early 1800s. It came 100 years ago.
Yeah,
the early
first year of radio. Boy, what a year!
Yeah, when you think about that.
Yeah,
but we weren't around then. We didn't come around till what, 1930?
Yeah, we were late to the game.
Yeah,
we let the Big K handle it. Can we mention them?
One of the older radio stations in the region, still family owned.
That's right.
You talk about that. We're not owned by corporations. We're not told what 12 songs we can play.
No, we play what we want. There goes the last DJ that plays what he wants to play.
That's right. And who was that?
Tom Petty.
I know that.
Oh, who the actual DJ was, I don't know.
Oh.
That's based on an actual DJ?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Go ahead, Doug.
I can't think of it. That's why I was asking you.
Oh, well, thank God for Google.
Yeah, Google that. If there was some way that we could get this information easily and then send it to you. But yeah, no, that's based on an actual DJ.
Oh.
But yeah, if you listen to some radio stations, they don't even introduce the songs anymore because they play the same ones so often.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little puzzling at times why that has occurred. A lot of it obviously comes down to the fact of just corporations owning and telling local radio stations who knew their stuff before suddenly maybe they don't know their stuff now. So. By the way, I mentioned earlier, we're trying to get Jasmine Jones on as a guest tomorrow. Now, they're traveling back to America today. So whether she's available tomorrow for that interview, of course, she won the bronze in two-person bobsledding. And we also want to follow up maybe in a week with Dan Barefoot, who we spoke to last week, who was in the top 10 in skeleton at the Olympics. He's from Johnstown. Just what's next? You're at the Olympics, and suddenly you're not at the Olympics.
Yeah, that's got to be a downer. I'm coming down from watching it. Imagine being there and competing.
Yeah, competing in it, and like walking in the opening and closing ceremonies.
Oh my
before
gosh,
the world.
Amazing.
The opening and closing ceremonies are always very interesting. You have to keep in mind this is what's interesting in their countries.
Right.
Might not catch our attention, but it was certainly unique and different. And the pageantry of shifting and lowering the one flag, raising the flag.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's great that we had Spanish at the Super Bowl halftime show and Italian and French at the opening and closing ceremonies. I think Americans could use a little culture, frankly. Everyone complaining. Not everything's in English. Not everything's about you, America. Yeah,
NBC's coverage was
phenomenal.
Absolutely amazing.
They should win some award. They've won many Emmys for the Olympics. Bob Costas back in the day individually, and Tirico now does a great job. The whole network.
And the people that say that NHL should not be in the hockey, I think this solidified the argument they should always be in the hockey games.
I mean, the Olympics, the idea of it was amateurism, but I think that time has come and gone.
Oh, yeah.
You want the best possible players.
Yeah, Americans had amateurs in it, but, Russia basically had members of the army whose full job was hockey.
Right.
And that doesn't make them amateurs.
No.
That made them professional soldier hockey players back in the day, which was what was so amazing about the Miracle on Ice when basically a bunch of college kids beat the Russians. And I think probably most Americans think they beat the Russians for the gold.
No, they had to beat Finland.
They beat Finland.
That's right. Herb Brooks, that famous speech, they were trailing Finland, I believe, going into the second or third period in that gold medal game. And he said, if you lose this, you'll take it to your grave. And they won. So there you go.
Yeah, it's to say the least, that was an amazing final game.
It was. And great for Mike Sullivan. Nice to root for him again. He's won 2 Stanley Cups and a gold medal. I think that he has to make the Hall of Fame now.
Oh, how could you not?
I mean, come on.
Yeah, because it's not a lot of people mix that up. It's not the NHL Hall of Fame.
No. Actually, none of the Halls of Fame are named after. None of them are affiliated with the league.
No,
none of them.
No, and the league plays some role with it, but they do not oversee it. But Linda Kenyon's going to join us here in a couple of moments. We're going to get her report on tonight's State of the Union address. We'll be with you on the air for the afternoon drive show till 8 o'clock. America's Best Music for about an hour, and then we'll get to CBS coverage of the State of the Union address by President Trump. I got an email earlier at radiosaltzman@gmail.com saying, why is it always so late? Well, it's only 6 o'clock out on the West Coast. So that's why they put these things at 9 o'clock. Joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, reporting, of course, for CBS on tonight's State of the Union address, Linda Kenyon. Linda, we don't get to talk to you as much anymore. It's good to have you on the air with us. The State of the Unions have really gone through some transformations over the year because people have so much access to elected officials, social media, you name it. This one seems, though, to be back to the old days. Let's see what the president has to say.
Well, this is actually the president's first State of the Union address in his second term. His speech last year around this time was technically not a State of the Union address. It was a speech to a joint meeting of Congress because he had just taken office, and therefore an assessment of the State of the Union is usually considered premature by the time the president makes his speech. So this is the first official State of the Union address. And there's been a lot of discussion about how the president is going to present his speech, which we thought would be very much domestically oriented, but there is also the backdrop of what's happening overseas, the buildup of U.S. military in the region in the Middle East because of increased tensions with Iran, the ongoing war in Ukraine, and, of course, efforts to move to the next stage in the ceasefire in Gaza. But the president also is speaking in his State of the Union address after a ruling last week by the U.S. Supreme Court, which essentially invalidated many of his tariffs. Clearly very upset about that. So it'll be very interesting to see what he discusses when it comes to tariffs tonight.
And considering, of course, usually most, if not all, of the Supreme Court sits almost right there in the front row And, it's always interesting to watch them when it's time. They do applaud at the beginning to welcome a president into the hall of the House. But then, obviously, they don't give opinions on things. Many years ago, I know a Supreme Court justice was criticized for mouthing the words "not true" about a comment that President Obama made. That may have just been an accidental, like he was thinking it and his lips moved to say it. So, yeah, it's very interesting to see what happens there. And obviously, there can be no counterpoint if he says something negative about the Supreme Court.
You were referring to Justice Alito during the Obama State of the Union address. Tonight, we're expecting only 4 justices to attend instead of the entire U.S. Supreme Court. It would be Justice Roberts, Elena Kagan, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah. And see, that's why we have you on, Linda. I couldn't have remembered who that justice was who mouthed those words if I tried. So thank you for following up. And you caught that I couldn't remember the person's name. Well done. That's a good reporter. Yeah, good work on that one. I couldn't think of the name. The House Democratic leader, Representative Hakeem Jeffries, has sort of given rules to his colleagues. Please don't do anything at this event. I guess they were criticized for holding up signs at one point. Republicans over the years have yelled out things to presidents, certainly to President Biden. I guess he seemed to be hoping for a little more decorum in this because things like that generally don't go over well. So we'll see what happens in this one. I don't know if that's going to occur, but Jeffries kind of made it clear to his colleagues, don't do stuff like that, correct?
He has asked them to tone it down a little bit, but there are already many members of the Democratic caucus in the House and many senators on the Democratic side of the aisle who are not going to be attending tonight. At last count, we have more than 30 representatives and many members included in that from the Congressional Black Caucus who will not be attending. But in general, the list of representatives who have decided not to attend include, I'll just give you a spotlight here, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Veronica Escobar, Pramila Jayapal, Don Beyer, we have John Larson, we have James Clyburn, Benny Thompson, Joyce Beatty, so many, Ayanna Pressley, she's from Massachusetts, and then, of course, not the entire U.S. Supreme Court. And then there's always the question, who is the designated survivor? And we will not know that until just before the speech begins, and maybe even after the speech starts. Yeah. And that's the one member of Congress who not the member of Congress, rather, the member of the cabinet who will sit out and be in some secure location somewhere.
And also, you mentioned the Democrats who won't be there. The number 2 member of the House, House Democratic Whip Catherine Clark, told a news source that she will not attend. I don't ever recall somebody that high-ranking not attending from either party. So, yeah, they're certainly making an argument about that. Not an argument so much, but more of a statement for not attending that. You mentioned a moment ago about the designated survivor, and, of course, that's a member of the cabinet that is not there. But I also saw that Democrat Mike Thompson was selected as the party's designated survivor. Representative Mike Thompson, Democrat from California, the designated survivor for the State of the Union. Is that something new, or did I miss this, that you would have a member of Congress not be there as a designated survivor? I don't remember that. The Hill reported
Here's
that.
something really interesting about the designated survivor from a member of Congress. No, it's not a normal universal thing. However, this particular member of Congress, Mike Thompson, has been the designated congressional survivor for more than one State of the Union address. This might be his 3rd or his 4th. So that's a very interesting development as well. But for those who don't know, the designated survivor is, and it's not just a movie or a TV series. It's a real thing. It is actually a thing, and it is meant to continue the continuity of Congress. The thought process being when you've got both houses of Congress and the U.S. Supreme Court and the presidential cabinet and the president and the vice president in the United States, all in the same room. If anything were to happen, if there were to be an attack on the Capitol that would wipe out all those people at one time, how would the government continue? And that is why they have one person from the cabinet who is put in a secure room somewhere, safe from any possibility of attack, if you will, and that person would be designated to carry on in the event of a catastrophic attack.
Yeah, I know after 9/11, there were members of Congress questioning whether such a gathering should be held anymore, given technology that's available. When you think about that, in many cases, it's a quick process to replace maybe a member of the U.S. Senate. A governor appoints somebody. Replacing the whole House is not a simple process. It can, God forbid, an absolute catastrophic attack on the Capitol. But yeah, very interesting. I did not realize that there was a designated member of Congress that would not attend. And did not realize it was that person. Again, and one more topic to bring up, there's always about who's been invited to be in the gallery. I got invited one time, but it had nothing to do with the president inviting me or a high level of Congress. I just happened to get in. And but it's always interesting who's invited. I guess the Olympic women's hockey team was invited. They chose not to go. So that's always sort of the dramas around this too, isn't it?
Yeah, the president has guests, the first lady has guests, Congress has guests. By the way, when it comes to the U.S. Olympic hockey team, the men's team was at the White House a short time ago. They were in the Oval Office with the president. The president asked if he could wear one of the medals, and there's a picture taken of him wearing the medal from the U.S. hockey team for their gold victory in the just completed Winter Olympics. And they have been logistically, they're working out all of the details on how to get them all up there, et cetera, and so forth. But logistically, they are expected to be in the gallery. The women's team, the president had said to the men's team in a phone call, I guess I'm going to have to invite the women. And the women said, nah, we're good.
I mean, the House gallery's big, but that's a big team to get all those people in there. I have a feeling some folks who got invited are getting disinvited now to fit that whole team in, if they choose all to go, I suppose. But yeah, it's always who's sitting near and which side are they on? It's always that. It's like the Oscars: who's sitting near who's sitting, what's the look on their face, all that. And we'll have the experts telling us what people are thinking based on the looks on their faces, which I always find sort of fascinating. Linda Kenyon, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate your report on tonight's State of the Union address. And you're right, it is the first one. It doesn't happen a whole lot that you have the first address, a State of the Union address, and a second term followed by someone else in the White House for a term. I guess Grover Cleveland, maybe. I don't even know. Although, it's interesting, just real quick, it's not required by the Constitution. The State of the Union is required, but it could be a paper report sent to members of Congress. It doesn't have to be an actual address. I don't think
George Washington did that, by the way. He just sent a piece of paper to Congress. He never actually developed delivered a speech, but it has developed over the years into a thing. And here we are tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's, too much free publicity, I suppose, for a president. They'd be crazy not to do it. Linda, thanks so much. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for your report. Take care.
Thank you.
Hey, coming up here in a few moments, speaking of CBS, we're going to get an update from, in fact, about 5 seconds from now, CBS News Brief. We come back, we're going to chat it up. We're with you till 8 o'clock. Stick around. I'm Doug. That's Nick.
CBS News Brief. President Trump is expected to make a few economic announcements during tonight's State of the Union address, but some 50 Democratic lawmakers won't attend. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren will be there.
I think he's going to have a lot of talk, and he's going to try to tell us it's a great economy. And you know what? It is a great economy if you're a billionaire. It's just not working for much of anybody else.
An investigation is underway after the stabbing deaths of 4 people near Purdy, Washington, near Tacoma. Pierce County Sheriff spokesperson Shelby Boyd.
3 were pronounced deceased on scene, all stabbed, and then 1 was transported to a local hospital, later succumbed to their injuries, also stabbed.
The suspect was shot and killed by a responding officer. Parts of the Northeast are reeling after a blizzard in Staten Island, New York. One resident says it's heart attack snow.
We got teachers here. We got police officers here. Nobody can move. And we're breaking our kazoo shoveling, and you can only do so much.
CBS News Brief, I'm...
Go to Ford Uniontown and trade me in.
It's Dominic Carbone with Jessica Caringla with your 7-time President Award-winning Ford of Uniontown. Truck Month is on the horizon, and we're kicking this thing off with a bang. Running all the way to the end of March, and we're talking massive savings.
How massive?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Take up to $8,000 off select F-150s or $6,000 off with interest rates at 2.9 for 60 months, 3.9 for 72, and only 4.9 for 84 months.
And that's not all. We got deals on Super Duties, Mavericks, and Rangers. Just stop, click, or call for details.
Here at Ford of Uniontown, our commitment is to make sure you have the best experience, not only buying a vehicle, but getting it serviced as well. That's why we offer online maintenance appointments and free pickup and delivery.
Your truck knows, shouldn't you? That's Ford of Uniontown on the hill across from Applebee's. 724-425-5980 or FordofUniontown.com.
Price excludes taxes and transfer fees, must finance with Ford Credit, and not all buyers will qualify.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the better business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Now, you don't have to travel too far for medical marijuana products. Go to Local Leaf in Scottdale for a wide variety of locally grown and locally sourced products, plus your questions answered on medical marijuana, qualifying medical conditions, or how to register for your medical card. Local Leaf by PHG off Route 119 in Scottdale, 412-417-4964. Online at localleafpa.com. Local Leaf, your medical marijuana dispensary with locally grown and locally sourced products in Scottdale.
Some things just go together, like bread and butter, blue jeans and Saturdays, best friends and phone calls. And a great match? You and discounts from Erie Insurance. It's like this. Safety features in your car will have you paying less for your auto insurance. And pay off your Erie auto policy all at once, and you'll save up to 7% more. On your homeowner's policy, you earn discounts that start at age 46 and go up each time you celebrate a birthday. There are more discounts, too, for things like home safety features and even teenage drivers. And the savings keep adding up. When you have your auto and home covered with Erie, you get a discount. Buy a life policy with us, and the savings can get even better. At Erie Insurance, above all in service means making life a little easier on you and on your wallet. Your Erie agent is waiting for you. Your local Erie agent is Sprowell's Insurance Group, 724-437-9812, or go to sprowellsinsurance.com.
Discount terms and amounts may vary by state. See your local Erie agent for details.
Stones bringing us out of the break there. Thanks for joining us for the afternoon drive show. Cold, I guess normal temperatures for this time of year. 32 degrees right now outside our Davis & Davis attorneys at law studio. It's a little better than I talked to some friends in New York City. Chaos. Can you imagine that much snow hitting Manhattan? Where on earth do they put it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how people live there normally. Just 9 million people on top of each other, but add a foot of
island.
snow.
Right.
Yeah, but add a foot of snow. Is that how much they got? More?
Yeah,
it's a massive blizzard.
Yeah, it really is amazing how they pull that one off. Sadly, the Pirates have lost another one of their legendary players. And Bill Mazeroski, when I was a kid, me and my buddies would get about 6 or 7 pieces of bazooka and stick it in our mouth, so we had that big jaw sticking out like that, and because we wanted to look like Hall of Famer Maz. He wasn't the Hall of Famer at the time. Heck, at the time he was still playing, and but yeah, we did that. We had a high school baseball coach that said, "You want to play baseball? I don't want to see that stuff in your mouth. I don't care if it's gum or not." He was very strict about that. Right after I got yelled at for basket catching a fly ball trying to imitate Clemente. But yeah, Bill Mazeroski, long overdue getting in the Hall, and who better to talk to him about the Pirate for Life, Steve Blass, on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line. Steve, first up, condolences. Sorry that you lost yet another one of your teammates from that era. Maz was special, though, wasn't he?
Absolutely. You know, you talk about the hits keep coming. Dave Justy, Elroy Face, Bill Mazeroski, Dave Parker last summer. So, yeah, it's been a tough run. But Maz was, I maybe describe him as a reluctant hero. He never took himself so seriously that it got away from me. He did himself more than he thought he should be. But, boy, was that a special home run. But it also it brings to mind his whole body of work, not just that home run. He was arguably, in my mind, the best. second baseman of all time, with the fact that he had those great hands. He could turn the double play, and he set all the records that eventually got broken on a very difficult surface at Forbes Field. It was not the greatest infield to play on, and so some of those records got broken, and I applaud those guys that did that. But I don't know if they could have done it on the same surface that Bill did. And on top of that, Bill Mazeroski's one heck of a baseball player. In my mind, a better man.
Yeah. And there are some who simply thought that home run delayed his getting into the Hall of Fame because, not that we'd ever criticize some of these reporters who make these decisions who should get into the Hall, but they certainly must have known he was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, second baseman to ever play. When you think about how many double plays he turned with Gene Alley, of course. It just seemed, is it possible that home run delayed his getting into the Hall of Fame? Because some people may have thought that's all he accomplished.
Well, maybe somebody, people had that idea that was the pinnacle of Bill Mazeroski, but shame on them if they didn't look beyond. And is there any reason that the best second baseman in baseball history should not be in the Hall of Fame? I can't get beyond that, simply for his body of work. I want to talk about him as a person, but nobody turned the double play like he did. He just turned the direction of the baseball. He didn't catch the ball at second base for the double play. It just bounced into his throwing hand. And it was unbelievable how quick the flight of the baseball turned from going to second base to going to first base. Nobody ever did it better. And he started it with Dick Groat, absolutely, and then Gene Alley. But the body of work before that, involved with that cherry on the cake, the home run, no surprise. Bill Mazeroski belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's there now. I'm going to miss him dearly because he was a friend, he was a teammate, and he was a hero of mine. We roomed together for a while. And so I got to know him, and the more I got to know him, the more I respected him.
And what kind of a teammate was he, Steve? I mean, was he a leader? Was he vocal? What was he like in the locker room?
No, he was not vocal at all. All you had to do is watch the way Maz went about his work, and you can learn from him. He was steady. He didn't make a lot of noise. But if you look at consistently being a major league player in the library, in the dictionary, you'd find Maz's picture there. Because he never changed. He was just consistently hardworking, got the job done every day, didn't make a lot of noise. He was the ultimate major leaguer in my mind.
Yeah, of course, 18 years spent exclusively with the Pirates. A lot of people forget that he was part of the 71 team, but there's an example of his humbleness. He would never participate in those anniversary events because he said, he would say, my role wasn't that big in 71. I'll let the 71 guys have that one, even though he was part of the team then. But 8 gold gloves, when you think of that. Second base, you're right. I used to think our infield was a little tough when I played high school baseball. I'm not sure if it was much worse than Forbes Field. When you see some of those plays over the years, I swear they spread rocks in the infield there.
Oh, my God. Visiting teams would not take infield practice. But you go back to 71, he didn't play a lot. Dave Cash took over, he was, Maz was a mentor to him, but Bill Mazeroski's presence on that team in 71 was a strong feeling. Professionalism, that he just exuded that, and that spilled over because we knew him from before. The fact that he was still on that ball club had a very, very positive effect on how we played in 71 and went on to win the World Championship. So glad Maz was on that, got a ring, got that recognition as being a second baseman on the 60 team and being a part of the 71 team. Absolutely.
And how did he handle, do you think, as someone who was friends and teammates with him, all of the accolades, all the fame he got? I mean, he hit the greatest home run in the history of baseball. When you would talk to him, was he overwhelmed by all the attention he got after that? Or
he was not overwhelmed. He acknowledged that he knew what that represented, the impact it had on Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates. But the great thing about everybody in the universe used to come up to and ask him about the home run.
Sure.
And he never said no. He always explained it, what it meant to him. He never lost track of the impact it had. My goodness, I remember Maz saying, all I ever wanted to do was play baseball. I never saw this kind of thing coming, but he handled it with the usual professionalism that he handled everything else. And he was an example. He really helped me go from being a ball player to a major leaguer just by watching him, listening to what he said. He never said much, but the things he said to me when I was a rookie, he said, no more excuses. You're in the big leagues now. People want to know why you succeed. They don't want to know why you failed. So no excuses. And he also said, don't ever lose track of the fact that the name on the front of the uniform is more important than the name on the back. And a little subtle thing that not too many people talk about, he told me when I was a rookie, he said, you should be flattered if somebody wants your autograph to the point where you write it, where they can read it. And Bill Maz could have just signed all of his autographs, Maz. He spelled it out beautifully and readable, and you learn lessons from a guy like that.
Yeah, it reminds me of Arnold Palmer, who would sign his autograph on a golf ball. I have a golf ball he signed for me, completely legible. Sister Mary Baptist.
Palmer. Think of Maz and Palmer, Western Pennsylvania, guys that never forgot how it's supposed to work.
Right. Yeah, I once saw Arnold Palmer yell at a Pittsburgh Steeler for refusing to give an autograph to somebody, and then he told him, and write it legibly. This is what he told a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I won't say which one, but I witnessed it at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, you look at this golf ball, and people say, Doug, that's not real. I watched him sign it. That's real. He signed a golf ball. You can read Arnold Palmer. And of course...
How about those two guys representing our part of the world? What examples. How lucky were we to have Palmer and Maz? And they were good buddies. They had a lot of fun together. They respected each other. That tandem, we were lucky to have them.
Yeah, when you think about the fact that anybody who would win a World Series with a home run would probably be the MVP, and they had a silly rule back then, in my opinion. They had to pick the MVP by the 7th inning of the final game. I didn't quite understand. Of course, Bobby Richardson had a heck of a series, 12 RBIs, hit 367 in Grand Slam Game 6. But I think Matt should have won the MVP of the series.
You think?
Yeah, that's just a dumb rule. Why would they have that?
I don't know. Because, it was a crazy game, 10-9. There was not one strikeout recorded in that game.
Amazing.
So why not wait till the dust settles and then say, all right, what's this all about? You know what it's all about? It's about the greatest home run, the greatest thing that ever happened in Major League Baseball. Yeah. It's still number one.
It is.
Still number one.
Yeah, that's our favorite stat, Nick and I, that no one struck out in Game 7 of the 1960 World Series. Nowadays,
how many strikeouts were in last year's Game 7? It was a great game, but there were a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, I was going to say. And nowadays, you strike out on 8 pitches, and you get high fives in the dugout for running up the pitch count.
The times have changed, haven't they?
Oh, they sure have. Yeah. As we talk with Steve Blass, who's the Pirate for Life, and you're always so generous with your time to talk about. Sadly, recently, 3 of your former teammates who are no longer with us.
Think about this: they keep the hits keep coming. Dave Parker dies in the summer, and then Dave Justy, and then Maz or Elroy, and then Maz. Guys I played with, my teammates, and you talk about the great relievers that we had here. We had Justy, we had Elroy Face, we had Kent Tekulve, and keep an eye on Kent, keep an eye on Tekulve. Teek's working on his second heart, so he's doing all right. But keep an eye on him because he's one of that 3 that we were lucky to have: Face, Justy, and Tekulve. Not too many organizations can talk about the quality of their closers that we lived with.
I just got an email here at radiosaltzman@gmail.com that said you need to interview Steve about teammates of his who are still with us occasionally. Maybe we should do that. We'll have you on sometime to talk about Sanguin and some others.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Manny Sanguin is great, and there are. Quite honestly, there aren't. Richie Hebner's still around, and And Al Oliver is still around. Al Oliver, who should get more consideration for the Hall of Fame than people give him for his body of work. So, yeah, there's guys still around. The only two guys from the 60 team, I think, are Vernon Law and Bob Skinner. Right. And, they were part of that group that helped me go from being a ball player to a major leaguer.
Richie Hebner would be a good, and I'm finally over my anger with Hebner. He was a rink guard at South Park Ice Skating Rink and made me leave the rink one time because I knocked over a friend. He was a rink guard.
He dug graves too, right?
Yeah, he dug graves, not mine.
Well, Richie had 24 years in the big leagues. And when we were winning those division titles in the early 70s, he says, God, you guys got to back off because I dig the graves and the ground's getting really, really hard if we keep extending the season. but he and I were great friends. Great career for Richie Hebner. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was. He did throw me out of the rink because I knocked over a buddy of mine on purpose. Wow. Out. So I had to take a 10-minute timeout in the ice skating rink at South Park back in the day. I think he played some hockey at one time too. I remember Richie.
Oh, he was a highly regarded up in the Boston area, Norwood, Massachusetts. Tom Glavine was a highly regarded high school hockey guy, and Richie Hebner was just as highly regarded. Serious hockey guy.
Yeah, back in the day when we used to joke in this. I grew up I was born in '63, so the '70s were a great time to be a kid. Steelers won all the time, Pirates won all the time. Penguins weren't so hot, but the tickets were really cheap. we could get a youth ticket for the Penguin games for $4, I think, back in the '70s.
Yeah, well, that all changed, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's I think you'd have to get a shot glass of beer for $4 nowadays. I think at one of those. But we sure do appreciate your taking time to talk to us about the great Maz. I had a chance to meet him a couple of times, and he was just as nice and humble as he could be. And here I am talking to him as we're waiting in line at a restaurant, and I'm thinking, can't they get Maz a seat? Why does Maz have to wait in line for a seat at this restaurant, for crying out loud? But I was glad he was waiting because I had a chance to chat with him, and he talked to me like, hey, nice chatting with you. What do you do for a living?
Normal guy who had exceptional ability. And he never, ever, ever changed. And, quick story, we roomed together for a while, and on his birthday, September 5th, I remember in 1969, I hit my only home run. And Maz and I were rooming together so we celebrated his birthday, my home run. The next few days I had off. Maz had to play the next day. And he said after the game, he said, we were recovering from the night before, celebrating. And he said, every ball that went up in the infield, I saw 7 balls, and I caught them all.
Hey!
And that's so typical with Maz.
It only counted as 1 out, though,
That's right. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, he got it done.
Yeah, that's okay. You can have some fun when in those days of playing ball. There was a great interview just over the weekend of few players from the hockey team, the USA hockey team. They were at a bar. They had a few. They were having a good time. Mike Tirico was trying to interview him. It was funny watching him. But Steve, we appreciate all the time. We hope we don't talk to you anytime soon about another late teammate. But we'd rather have you on and talk about the ones that are still with us at times. And maybe we'll have a conversation one time why Maz and your manager should be in the Hall of Fame. That's utterly ridiculous that Danny Murtaugh's not in the Hall.
Absolutely. He beat 2 of the best teams in the last 100 years, the 60 Yankees, 71 Pirates, or 71 Baltimore Orioles. Absolutely. So we'll get together and we'll talk about my new hero, Paul Skeens, at some point. I look forward to it.
Absolutely.
No, can't wait.
And the World Baseball Classic this year.
Right.
Let's not get hurt during that one. That's for sure. It's going to be another great season. So for him, my gosh. Steve, thanks so much. As always, it's a pleasure. It's an honor.
My pleasure,
All righty.
you gentlemen. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nick.
We just talked to Steve Blass.
Exactly. Yeah.
We just talked to a man who won Game 7 of the 1971 World Series about his friend who won Game 7 of the 1960 World Series.
Yeah, and he pitched a complete game.
Right, he did. Just
to this day, right? The last complete Game 7.
Game 7, yes. I think Yamamoto had a complete game in the last World Series. That was Game 6. Right. Jack Morris in the American League, but certainly in the National League, the last one.
Last complete game, 7. And when you had a hit, too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And he had 1 home run.
Back when pitchers were athletes.
And Maz had a few beers afterwards.
That's right.
Yeah.
What a legend.
Well, I saw Maz over the years, and I don't know if he ever stopped at a few beers. Yeah.
Oh, you like to drink?
He had a few.
It's
Yeah, I'm
all
not
right.
saying the guy had an issue. I'm not getting, but no, he was a jovial fellow.
Well, that's good.
And enjoyed
From West Virginia, became a
enjoyed
baseball
having a
hero.
toddy, as
That's
Myron
right.
Cope would have said.
We got to hang out with Bill Mazeroski. What an honor.
Well, it wasn't exactly hanging out, but he was there and we were chatting and it was fun. And just a nice guy.
Sure, down to earth. I'm sure can't believe what happened to him. The fact that he hit that home run and he was a brilliant defensive second baseman, maybe the best ever.
They asked him one time about the statue. He said, "Well, I was just at the right place at the right time."
Right, yeah, how humble!
But that is a great statue.
Yeah, it is.
Right outside right field at PNC Park, and there's bricks back there with the home run distance on it, 460, whatever it is.
Yeah, and those are the actual bricks from Forbes
from the
Field?
wall. Yeah,
Wow.
I've been down to. We'll talk about that when we come back. The anniversary of the Pirates winning that World Series. It's always a great gathering in Oakland. We'll talk about that. But first, this is the Afternoon Drive Show on WMBS.
Feeling lucky? Your next big jackpot is waiting for you. Visit the casino at Nemacolin in Farmington, PA for the ultimate casino experience featuring the hottest table games, daily promotions, big-time giveaways, and an exciting variety of premium slots. And after, celebrate your big win with a juicy burger at the Royale while you watch the big game. Hotel packages available. Visit CasinoNemacolin.com for more information. The Casino at Nemacolin. Game on. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tune in to WMBS the second and fourth Thursdays monthly at 10:30 a.m. for an all-new radio program with Pete Crackle, Director of Clinical Operations and Pharmacist at Nickman's Drug. Pete will explore a myriad of health-related topics and talk about how a strong relationship with your pharmacist is vital for your best health. So mark your listening calendars and be sure to catch the all-new show the second and fourth Thursday each month. Need a pharmacy? Visit Nickman's Drug today at any of their 7 area locations.
Are delinquent credit cards, medical bills, and personal loans stressing you out? Are you unable to catch up? Are the debt collection calls just too much? If yes, then call Zebley Law at 724-439-9200. Zebley Law provides free in-person consultations. Then, using our decades of experience, we recommend a plan for relief. Before hiring a debt relief company or an out-of-town bankruptcy firm, call the local law firm serving Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties since 2001. Call Zebley Law at 724-439-9200.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Now, you don't have to travel too far for medical marijuana products. Go to Local Leaf in Scottdale for a wide variety of locally grown and locally sourced products, plus your questions answered on medical marijuana, qualifying medical conditions, or how to register for your medical card. Local Leaf by PHG off Route 119 in Scottdale, 412-417-4964. Online at localleafpa.com. Local Leaf, your medical marijuana dispensary with locally grown and locally sourced products in Scottdale.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles, and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
WMBS.
Bruce Springsteen bringing us out of the break. We just interviewed Steve Blass about his good friend and, of course, former teammate, Bill Mazeroski. You want to hear that interview again? It'll be up on our Facebook page later tonight if you want to rehear that interview. Sadly, we've interviewed Steve a few times lately about the loss of teammates Elroy Face and before that Dave Justy. But yeah, he agreed to during that interview. We're going to give him a call and talk to him once in a while about his teammates who are still with us. Yeah, Richie Hebner, the guy used to pull up his shirt in the back all the time as he was sitting at home plate. If you're watching me on Facebook, he'd pull up his shirt in the back when he was getting ready to bat. Story I wanted to tell you, a fun thing to do. It's kind of silly but fun. You head out to Oakland on the Pitt campus, right near the school, business school, and of course there's still part of the home run wall for Forbes Field, and people gather there every year on the anniversary of the 60 World Series, and they replay a recording of the radio call of the game, and you get to sit there and cheer it on. It's sort of fun. They also have on the sidewalk bricks embedded in the sidewalk that show where the home run wall was besides what's left, and there's a plaque at the exact spot where the ball went over the fence. And what was funny, that the guy running back trying to catch it was most people remember him as a catcher, Yogi Berra. Yeah, Yogi was playing left field.
Yeah,
he was usually thought of as a catcher. But yeah, you can get your picture. I've laid on my back with my face next to the plaque.
Wow,
saying
of course you did
exactly where the home run ball went over.
Right.
You just pointed at me. Did you?
No, you remember the pitcher who gave up the home run?
I don't.
Ralph Terry.
Oh, I should remember that.
In 1951, Ralph Branca gave up the home run to Bobby Thompson. So the two biggest home runs ever hit in the history of baseball, both given up by guys named Ralph.
And then the third most famous Ralph, of course, was my dad.
Of course, Ralph Saltzman.
Ralph Saltzman.
He was a pitcher as well? No.
He was not a pitcher, no. But there's a trophy named after him. It's the highest average in the Bethlehem Lutheran Church bowling league, the Ralph Saltzman Trophy.
There you go.
Which my brother and I are talking about. We need the same guy's won that trophy for 15 years because he's had the high average. We think it's whoever has the most improved average.
Well, that's sweet.
We're negotiating on
Let's
that.
Let's do that. Oh, I would love to be in the bowling league negotiations
for the Ralph Saltzman trophy.
I bet those are heated.
Oh yeah. It always happens at the picnic in the summertime. That's right, when we have the postseason picnic.
God.
But I had a good night of bowling last night. For heaven's sakes, if we're talking sports.
Well, that's a sport. Should be in the Olympics.
I've been struggling this year. My average is way down. But at least, is bowling's not a summer game. It could be. They should have. That's a simple.
Absolutely. If they have curling in the Winter Olympics,
That's
my
right.
God, they have table tennis in the Summer Olympics.
Table tennis.
Don't call it ping pong.
No, you
My
can't call
God.
it ping pong.
They'll throw their paddles at you.
That's right. Ping pong and baseball. Is it back again this year?
It's a great question. Flag football is coming.
Yeah,
in
flag
28.
football.
NFL players Tom Brady wants to be in. It'll be 50 at that point.
Oh, why not?
No, I don't care.
Get a lot of
baseball. I don't think it's back. They want negotiations. I think are still going.
We will
on.
find that out when we come back.
Whatever.
Here on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. When we come back, by the way, we're going to check in with Professor Bruce Ankowiak about this lawsuit the governor's involved with, a land dispute with his neighbor at his private home. Talk about strange. We'll be chatting it up with that one, all coming up today on the Afternoon Drive Show. News is next.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Some economic announcements are expected during President Trump's State of the Union address tonight. Dozens of Democrats are planning to boycott it. In a network-exclusive interview, House Speaker Mike Johnson has told CBS Evening News anchor Tony DeCopel.
We've never done that. It doesn't matter if there's a Democrat president. You go and respect the office. You respect the decorum, the institution, the tradition of having had this speech made. And it's sad to me that Democrats are choosing to opt out of that.
Several Jeffrey Epstein survivors are attending tonight's speech. Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal of Washington pointing out,
the world will see Donald Trump have to face these survivors right there in the House gallery and answer for why ambassadors and princes have been arrested in other countries, but here in America, not a single investigation.
Savannah Guthrie says her family is offering a reward for the recovery of their mother, Nancy, who has been missing since February 1st.
We need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million.
Authorities say Nancy Guthrie was taken against her will from her Tucson area home. Authorities say a man stabbed 4 people to death outside a home northwest of Tacoma, Washington today. The Pierce County Sheriff's Office says deputies initially responded to reports that a man was violating a no-contact order. Pierce County Force Investigation Team Public Information Officer Shelby Boyd.
At 8:41, the initial call came in related to the violation of the order. At 9:30, witness called, updated the call stating that there was stabbing occurring. And then at 9:33, the deputy called out that shots had been fired.
And the suspect was dead. Federal aviation officials are looking into a plane that took off from Miami and landed in Colombia that had an apparent bullet hole in the right wing of an American Airlines aircraft. CBS's Chris Van Cleve reports.
An American Airlines 737 MAX was found with an apparent bullet hole in its right wing while it was on the ground in Medellin, Colombia. The damage was detected after the plane arrived from Miami as Flight 923 late Sunday night. The ground crew working overnight reported finding a puncture that extends all the way through what's known as an aileron, according to sources familiar with the matter and documents reviewed by CBS News.
The aileron controls the roll of the aircraft. Parts of Rhode Island and Massachusetts got more than 3 feet of snow during yesterday's blizzard. Parts of Long Island got 2 feet of snow. Charlotte Hosick came to the aid of a neighbor.
We saw her shoveling and, we can't just look at her and not do it. So we decided to help and just do a good deed.
Stocks closed up on Wall Street today. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
CBS's Christopher Cruz tells us how a 7-year-old boy turned $11 into $7,000.
Eli LaMartina saved $11 over the last year or so in a special piggy bank where he saved money for charity. He converted his coins into bills and on a Saturday morning marched into the donation center of the Maine Needs nonprofit in Portland, Maine, and handed it over. Maine Needs wrote about Eli's act of generosity on Instagram, and within hours, grown-ups began to match his donation with donations of their own. The Portland Press-Herald says in less than a week, about 400 people had donated a total of more than $7,000 to Maine Needs. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Facebook owner Meta Platforms will buy artificial intelligence chips from Advanced Micro Devices in a deal that will also give it the opportunity to buy up to a 10% stake of the chip company. Meta will buy AMD's latest chips to help power data centers. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Cashback is not a... As the gift-giving season gets closer and near, our quaint little shop is filled with gift-giving cheer. These shelves overflowing from floor to top tier. Stop, browse, and shop. You'll think Santa's been here. Gifts made for giving or something just for yourself. You pick it, we'll wrap it, like having your own personal elf.
As loved ones age, it's important to make sure that they're getting the care and attention that they need. Hillside Manor Personal Care Home aims to make your loved ones as comfortable as possible while still receiving superior care. 4 specialized levels of care and the services of an on-site certified registered nurse practitioner means that care is personalized on an individual level. At the same time, residents can enjoy a hospitable environment. Themed after a small town, the interior of Hillside Manor features a 50s-style diner, movie theater, and common areas. High-priority safety and security measures ensure the safety and protection of all residents and staff members 24 hours a day, and friends and family are encouraged to make frequent visits. If you're looking for a clean, friendly, and safe place for your loved ones, look no further. Hillside Manor Personal Care Home is ready to meet your needs. Call 724-439-2273 for more information. They look forward to meeting you.
Don't miss out on Economy Furnace's end-of-season sale. It's the perfect time to upgrade your home's heating system with incredible savings. Take $250 off any furnace replacement, ensuring you stay warm and comfortable all winter long. For qualified buyers, we're offering 0% financing, making it simple to invest in a new energy-efficient furnace. We proudly partner with Amana, bringing you the highest quality furnaces on the market. At Economy Furnace, we define excellence in every aspect of our business, from our expert technicians to our customer-focused approach. With Economy Furnace, it's not just a furnace, it's peace of mind. Our end-of-season sale provides unmatched value, combining affordability with premium quality. Economy Furnace is committed to excellence. Our team of qualified professionals is ready to ensure your home stays warm and comfortable throughout the year. Contact us at 724-438-4575 to learn more. For economy, price, and quality service, call Economy Furnace.
We have your gifts to celebrate love, birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions, or all the above. Things that go bling, earring pendants and rings, all types of handbags, crossbodies, concealed carry, and slings, Western Southwest, boots, hats, and more, silver Zapata jewelry, fun fashion turquoise, it's a staple in our store. Strap, 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, located in the rear of the State Farm Building, 724-557-6184. We value your shopping experience here with us at Strap, so come on in, sit a spell, enjoy a refreshment, and a bag of peanuts. Strap, 724-557-6184. We're open Tuesday to Friday, 11 to 5, and Saturdays, 10 to 3. Convenient street parking right in front of our shop. You're sure to adore us, and you'll love our prices. Shop small, shop Strap.
Go to Ford of Uniontown and trade me in.
It's Dominic Carbone with Jessica Caringla with your 7-time President Award-winning Ford of Uniontown. Truck Month is on the horizon, and we're kicking this thing off with a bang. Running all the way to the end of March, and we're talking massive savings.
How massive?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Take up to $8,000 off select F-150s or $6,000 off with interest rates at 2.9 for 60 months, 3.9 for 72, and only 4.9 for 84 months.
And that's not all. We got deals on Super Duties, Mavericks, and Rangers. Just stop, click, or call for details. Here at Ford of Uniontown, our commitment is to make sure you have the best experience, not only buying a vehicle, but getting it serviced as well. That's why we offer online maintenance appointments and free pickup and delivery.
Your truck knows, shouldn't you? That's Ford of Uniontown on the hill across from Applebee. 724-425-5980 or FordofUniontown.com.
Price excludes taxes and transfer fees, must finance with Ford Credit, and not all buyers will qualify.
Don't adjust your dial. It's the Afternoon Drive Show, the late edition now. We're with you till 8 o'clock tonight. I made Nick smile over there. Man, that took a lot of work to get the thin Nick Barczyk to smile over there anymore.
Takes more muscles to frown than smile, so I guess I'll smile. Takes less work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. That does sound like something Mr. Rogers
nice segue.
would say. And coming up at 7:35, 7:40, we're going to check in with Speedy Delivery himself, David Newell, who played Mr. McFeely.
What's going on?
On Mr. Rogers. Just the other day, Thursday, was the, as I'm searching my paperwork here, was the anniversary of the debut of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood show in 1968.
Oh, my.
February 19th, 1968, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood premiered on National Education Television, the precursor of PBS.
It's going on 60 years now.
NEA. The program starred actor and creator Fred Rogers, who would invite young viewers into his calming home and introduce them to different topics and experiences that usually highlighted varying perspectives. Overriding characters' themes like honesty, authenticity, kindness, and respect always accompanied Mr. Rogers' adventures. The iconic series ran for 31 seasons, ending in August of 2001. I was also an ordained minister. They don't mention that. This is, if you're looking at, I read this from... so I don't violate copyrights here. This day in history, my page-a-day history calendar, which my daughters got me for Christmas.
Aw.
Yeah, I guess we had to get Dad this geeky calendar.
Yeah,
Right,
well, it's something Dad will like and use
Right.
every day.
Exactly.
So there you go. You can use it on your radio show.
So that's, 1968. He's.
I guess it beats a tie or golf tees.
When I was very young, I had trouble blowing my nose. So my mother would say, do it for Mr. Rogers.
Wow. And that worked?
And it worked.
Whatever worked.
Exactly. Do it for Mr. Rogers. So, we're going to talk to David Newell, who everybody knows as Mr. McFeely Speedy Delivery.
Was he on from day one? Mr. Newell not revealing his age because we know the anniversary.
I don't know. I'm guessing not, perhaps.
No. Oh, okay.
But we'll find. We could ask him that, how long he's. But he was a good friend with Fred Rogers, of course, and Joanne Rogers, Fred's wife. It feels weird to call him Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, have some respect.
And I told that story how I was walking through the Capitol with my boss at the time, Arlen Specter, and Fred Rogers. Rogers was there to testify before an appropriations subcommittee. And we're walking along, and here comes Ted Kennedy the other direction, walking very fast, very important.
Oh, yeah.
And stops on a dime and says, "Mr. Rogers, I'm Ted." It was sort of funny.
That's funny.
Then he turned and yelled at a staffer for not having a camera with him because he wanted to get a picture with Rogers. At that time, Mr. Rogers said to Ted, "That's okay, Ted."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, he was as pleasant as he was on the TV show. That was Fred Rogers in real life, and I had the honor of meeting him a few times.
That's great.
Just chatting it up with him, including one time just walking through Oakland. I
Is that right?
He was walking along.
Wow. He was a big swimmer, right? He swam.
Oh yeah, he swam every day.
Great exercise.
I swam one time. I don't know how I got. It was the PAA, the Pittsburgh Athletic Association, the old PAA, which is now part of Pitt. I don't know. Me and a buddy were there exercising, swimming one time, and there was Fred Rogers.
Wow.
Swimming in the pool. Yeah, because he lived right out in Oakland at one point. Of course, grew up in the same town. You talk about two of the most recognized faces in America at the time, Fred Rogers and Arnold Palmer, grew up a few blocks from each other in Latrobe.
That's amazing. That is crazy.
Crazy to think about that. Yeah, they said two of them had some of the most recognized faces in America.
Right.
Along with probably, at the time, I don't know, Muhammad Ali, maybe. Ronald Reagan, I don't know who else. It would be more the 70s then, I guess, that their faces would be so well known.
Nixon, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Nixon. Yeah, you couldn't miss Nixon's face.
No.
That's for sure. One of the strangest stories happening right now out of Harrisburg, to change topics, is the fact that the incumbent governor is involved in a lawsuit, a land-related lawsuit at his private home in Montgomery County with a neighbor, and they're arguing over where the property line is because the state apparently has spent $1 million on upgrading security at his private home. But why the governor would want to get involved in something like this is really a puzzle. And joining us to talk about the legalities of all of this, one of the stranger things I've seen in a while, law professor from St. Vincent's College, Professor Bruce Ankowiak. Professor, thanks for joining us. I'm sure governors have been involved in private lawsuits before, but I'm guessing maybe the 17 or 1800s, usually governors would want to avoid having a land line dispute, a property line dispute with their neighbor at their private home. I don't recall this happening before. Have you?
I've never seen anything quite like this. Never recall seeing anything like this in any other state or jurisdiction. It truly is a situation where you ask yourself, these are neighbors disputing over a piece of ground adjoining both of their properties, and why in the world this hasn't been settled in some amicable way before both sides have engaged in lawsuits against each other in a very, very public and for particularly for the governor has to be a very embarrassing circumstance.
It's when you think of something like this, this is not a governor like Governor Wolf, who clearly was never going to move on to a different office. He was pleased being governor, and now he's gone into private life. Shapiro has plans, and they certainly include running for vice president or president someday. So you would think you want to avoid something like this. And this is not some right-wing neighbor who's just suing his neighbor, Governor Shapiro, for political reasons. They're suing each other. I mean, it's not just one lawsuit going one direction. They're going both directions, correct?
Yes, they have both filed, and the governor, I believe, has alleged that the other party is engaged in harassment. This, like any civil lawsuit, this could well result in the taking of depositions on the part of everybody involved. It would involve hearings in front of a judge and potentially a jury trial. And this is just, I mean, it's inconceivable that something like this would be allowed to go this far, but it certainly has. I mean, the governor's case, as I understand it from reading one of the news accounts about this, is that he owns this property by the very old and ancient process called adverse possession, which means that if technically speaking, I own a piece of property, but I am, over in Europe for many years. And Doug Saltzman moves in on a piece of that property, builds his cottage, raises his crops, and 21 years goes by, and I come back and I want to throw Doug Saltzman off. Well, the doctrine of adverse possession would say, I'm sorry, this person has occupied this property in an open, and the law actually uses the word open and notorious way, claiming ownership. And if you have sat on your hands for 21 years and not done anything about it, then you lose it. But again, the allegations here seem to be that there have been ongoing disputes about this between the two parties, some attempts made to settle it, and now the lines have been drawn in the sand, and the neighbor wants the governor's the fence removed, no state police on that property, and the governor says, well, it's mine now. This is a bizarre lawsuit, even if it wasn't involving a major political figure. But because it is, it makes it even more in the unheralded realm of what is going on here.
Yeah. When the Washington Post, and this is just 2 days ago, has a headline that said, Josh Shapiro to neighbors, get off my lawn. That literally was the headline. And this is not what I would think somebody being governor of a state wants to happen, let alone somebody who has bigger aspirations to run at national levels. To think that he can't settle a dispute out of court over a land. And this is a standard house. If you see the home, this is not the White House. This is not, a home in Silicon Valley. This is a neighborhood home. And now the questions go beyond that. His opponent in the gubernatorial race this year is saying, wait a minute, I don't think we can pay for this. This was upgrades at a private residence that was not voted on by the General Assembly. It was not, it was not decided through the appropriations process. Over $1 million to have, and I have no problem with a governor's house being upgraded so it's safe, especially after the attack on his residence in Harrisburg. But that's an official government-owned home. This home in Montgomery County is his. This is not owned by the state. And suddenly,
exactly. And again, as you know, the campaign trail will heat up, debates will occur. Advertising will happen, and why you would want a collateral issue like this to be spread in this campaign is difficult to appreciate. I mean, again, politicians much better than I do, but. They want to come across as people of, they don't get involved in petty disputes. They're above this. They're trying to exert leadership, and to get involved in something like this. And again, we don't know all the background of this. The Shapiros may have made a very significant effort to settle this matter. And the other party may be completely obstinate about it for other reasons. We don't know this at this point. But allowing this kind of a dispute to go this far is truly something that, you hit the nail on the head. I haven't seen anything like this ever happen before. And, it certainly may have, but usually those kinds of disputes, particularly in a modern era, are resolved before a candidate goes before the public for a general election vote.
Yeah. And this is not a situation where the state is using eminent domain, the legal process, to build a highway. Or we're talking about a 10-foot piece of property, 10 feet wide. And a terminology that I have a feeling a lot of law professors, including yourself, are now telling their students, adverse possession. Is that the term? Do I have that right?
That's the term, right?
and it allows someone to seek ownership of land they have openly maintained for more than 21 years. Well, I always cut part of my neighbor's lawn because it was between our driveway and his, and I just cut it because it was simpler. I don't think I'm going to take that land at this point because I've been cutting the grass for more than 21 years. I don't know how that came up. Was that a typo? Not 20 years, not 25.
No,
but 21.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how 20? Why 21 was picked?
You wonder if it was a typo on the
no,
law.
you would have to ask some of the judges in the King's Court, a couple hundred years ago. But no, I mean, you use the example of cutting somebody's lawn. Adverse possession, as people are taught this in law school, means something more than just, you have a piece of land, it adjoins somebody else's, and you occasionally have wandered on it. I mean, it more or less requires some action to really state to the world that, this is mine, and I'm able to keep the rest of you people off of it, even though if the surveyor came out looking at the deed that's on file and marked the boundaries, yes, this piece would not be on my property. But now it is, because for the last 21 years, I have effectively asserted ownership to it, and you're too late. It was yours at one point, but sorry, your dilatory actions have made you forfeit it. Yeah. Very strange.
Is adverse,
and
I'm sorry, go ahead. I cut you off. Go right ahead.
No, I mean, it is not the normal thing you see argued in a court of common pleas these days. Yeah. Just not.
I'm thinking my limited understanding of law, of course, is entirely based on the 600 Law and Order episodes I've watched over the years. But this idea of adverse possession, is it similar to, let's say someone has walked across a piece of property for years to get to their home, and suddenly somebody says, I want to build a building here. And he said, no, I've had an easement that has been created as a result because I've walked across that property all these years. Is that similar to this adverse possession idea that it's somebody had?
No, first of all, I don't think any concept of property law came up much in Law and Order.
No, that's why I don't know anything about this, you see. Yeah.
Unless it was a question of whether the body landed in New York or New Jersey. But I think that an easement is basically something that is recorded like a deed. You go to the Recorder of Deeds office, and you'll see that your property, there's an easement given to the government to run a sewer line across the front of your land, or an easement to access some other place that is further back on your land. These are things that are recorded, and that's the common way to do them, so that anybody who wants to come in and buy your property will be able to go to the Recorder of Deeds and know exactly what they're buying and who else may have an interest in that property. These things of adverse possession are not favored in the law for the reason that they really provide no notice to a third-party individual. If a person went to buy this neighbor's house, they would look at the deed and they would see, geez, I own this whole thing. And what is that governor's fence doing on the property I want to buy? Okay? This is not the uncertainty that real estate lawyers want to inject into a property transaction. They would like to have things very clear that everybody understands what they're buying and what they're selling. And that's why adverse possession is a very rare and, in the mind of some people, I'm sure, an archaic principle, but it's still very much in the law. So there you go.
Would a layman's term be squatters' rights? Is that what? Maybe?
Well, I guess squatters' rights as a certain resonance with this, but the law is very specific that you've got to do some pretty elaborate squatting to invoke adverse possession. it's not just, you've been sleeping on this land for several years. I mean, you have to really be treating it as if it was your own. And, that's the concept of squatters' rights, what it conjures up in the minds of most people, I don't think really captures the essence of what adverse possession really means.
Yeah, a couple years back, there was an old railroad bridge on Route 51 between the Fort Pitt Tunnel and the Liberty Tunnel that hadn't been used in years. It's right next to the HOV tunnel, if folks are familiar with that, in that part of the city of Pittsburgh. So that bridge actually had been used simply by a nearby company, and they would park cars on it. They would use it to get across. And the state said, we're going to tear this thing down because we want to widen 51 here. There's no reason to have this bridge. And the company said, wait a minute, we've been using it for years. And I don't think it ever got to court, but it was one of those situations, say, this is how we get our trucks in. And they said, that's fine, but it's not your bridge. It's the state's bridge. And we're taking it down so we can widen the road. But there was a question then, they've used it for so long, could they simply possess it? It never got to that point. But
and again, most of those disputes of that nature are going to ultimately be resolved by people who say, this is not worth it to go to court, litigate this out for a year or a year and a half in common pleas court, invariably take up an appeal to the Superior Court, which will take you another year and a half. And in the meantime, that land is just going to sit there. If the city or the state really wanted to widen the road and there was this claim involved, they would make some financial settlement with the company so that the project could move forward. That would be prudent on the part of the state to do that. Because you wait 3 years to do the project, the cost of the project is probably going to go up significantly. So it's prudent of you to get the roadblocks out of the way now and get on with it. But again, those are the kind of disputes that usually, despite all the huffing and puffing on both sides, ultimately get settled. This one is apparently going full blast.
And add into this fact that the state treasurer, who just happens to be running against the owner of this property, Josh Shapiro, has now said, I don't think I can pay the bills for this thing. They spent $1 million upgrading security at his home. Which is not $1 million home based on, I don't know, my interpretation of what the house looks like. And they put this, it's one of the stranger things. In fact, before I talk about something on the air, I try to get a second source, of course, not try, I do. This one, I got a third source. I'm like, there's no way this can be happening. The governor can't be suing his neighbor for 10 feet of property at his private home. It's a head scratcher for a mayor of a small town to do, let alone a guy who wants to be president or vice president of the United States.
Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely.
And if you haven't seen something like this before, and you've seen it all,
well,
it's a strange one.
I ought to have remembered something like this, I think.
I mean, there's been lawsuits filed against governors as part of their official duties, but I don't think anybody ever filed a claim. And
Doug, you remember when President Clinton was being sued? One of the arguments was that, look, you cannot expect the President of the United States to take time out of, being the head of the largest country in the free world to sit in depositions and go through a civil lawsuit about something, even a much more serious matter than a property dispute. Okay. And again, you can expect the political attacks. Is our governor, spending too much time worrying about 10 feet of property behind his house when other critical problems of Pennsylvania remain untouched? That's going to happen. And I'm sure that his political minds, which are astute people to be sure, they recognize that as well. And it just makes this whole situation very difficult to understand from an objective perspective. And again, the reasons for that could be many and varied and exist solely on the side of the neighbor. But right now, what we know is what's been filed. And that's enough to make you look at it and say, wow, this is not like something I'd ever expected to have seen.
Yeah, I would think that the media consultants for the Stacey Garrity for governor campaign are saying, man, this is too easy. We can make a commercial out of this. I was working for a political consulting firm years ago, and once in a while something would come up so easy in a campaign, and we'd say, gosh, I hope they don't let us go because they can do this on their own at this point. They don't need us to tell them how to run this campaign, given the fact that they
every so often you do get a ground ball, though. That's the thing.
It's a strange one. Well, more to come on this one, that's for sure. It's not going to be resolved anytime soon, and I have a feeling that this neighbor's probably getting free legal advice at this point from a lot of people.
Oh my, I'm sure that whether it started with any intention of being a political matter, right now there are people jumping on that bandwagon for the reasons that it has such a potential to have nothing to do with the resolution of a property dispute, but everything to do with the political currency that can be generated by it.
And the state police are stuck in the middle of this. They've gone to the neighbors and say, you have to get off the property. Right. They say, it's our property. You can't make me get off my own property. And the state police who are assigned to this are probably thinking, how did I get stuck with this detail?
I know. And the state police, as a rule, try to absolutely keep out of any sort of political issues. Then they have been really remarkable in doing that for so many years. I mean, you hear allegations about the FBI being politicized and all that. You just never hear an allegation about the state police. They have a very rigid protocol about those things, and it's very commendable that they do that, because that's the surest way for them to lose credibility with the public, is by getting involved as a political partisan. So good for them. I hope they can keep that up in the difficult situation that this is.
Yeah. Well, it's good to talk to our favorite legal analyst from Latrobe. Speaking of Latrobe, we're going to talk to Mr. McFeely coming up here in a few moments. Speaking of Latrobe.
Oh, my goodness. A real celebrity. Yes, my goodness.
The anniversary last week of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood debut. So we're going to switch. There is a connection there. I always try to get a connection between one interview and the next. So we're going to talk about the most famous neighbor. I don't know. Maybe he's tied with Arnold Palmer for being the most famous neighbor from Latrobe, for heaven's sakes. Fred Rogers, Arnold Palmer. Not bad.
That's a contest I wouldn't want to have to judge.
Hey, thanks so much, Professor. As always, Bruce, we appreciate you taking time to talk about these topics. This is one of the stranger ones.
It is. I appreciate it, Doug. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bruce Incoia joining us on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line. We're going to take a break. We come back. Mr. McFeely is going to join us. Speedy delivery on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. I'm Doug. That's Nick. Stick around.
For funeral services from pre-need to at-need, burial or cremation, call Gates Funeral Home and Crematory, located at 136 North Gallatin Avenue in a beautifully restored historic home. Family owned and operated by Rick Gates, former Brownsville resident and Guyville alumni, the Gates Funeral Home and Crematory offers warmth, convenience, affordability, and ample parking. With a knowledgeable funeral director and compassionate staff, the Gates family and the Gates Funeral Home and Crematory are ready to assist you.
Looking for a fireplace? Koval Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is more than your plumbing supply store. We specialize in fireplaces of all fuel types, such as gas, wood, pellet, and electric. We're now featuring Harmon pellet stoves from Forge and Flame, perfect for keeping your family warm and cozy. Call Koval today at 724-437-8824 or visit kovalsupply.com to start planning for the winter season. Koval Building Supply, everything you need to make your house feel like home.
For professional cleaning services, Clean and Shine in New Stanton is the place for you. They provide commercial and residential cleaning, porter services, carpet cleaning, stripping and waxing, construction cleanups, and car cleaning. For free estimates, call 724-691-0413, email info@cleanandshine14.org, or visit their website, cleanandshine14.org. We clean so you can shine.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, Check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the better business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
There's only one best lunch spot in Uniontown. Titlow Tavern and Grill on West Main Street, serving 8-ounce Reubens, foot-long cheesesteaks and subs, half-pound handmade burgers, plus pizza, calzones, strombolis, pepperoni rolls, and fresh salads like Greek, antipasto, salmon, steak, and chicken. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 9, Friday till 10, Saturday 2 to 10. Dinner and happy hour specials nightly, and private parties are welcome. Call 724-437-6749. Titlow Tavern and Grill.
WMBS.
Oh, before you go,
Yes?
do you have time for the delivery song?
Well, if you'll sing it with me.
I'll try.
Here we go. Is there anything you want? Is there anything you need? McFeely's delivery brings it to you here with speed. Yes, our speedy delivery is a speedy delivery. Speedy delivery to you. Speedy delivery.
Now, if you don't recognize that song, shame on you. Of course, that's David Newell, and as not as himself, but as Mr. McFeely, Speedy Delivery, with Fred Rogers, who was always himself. There was no difference between the real Fred Rogers and the TV Fred Rogers. And joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line to talk about the anniversary of the debut of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, his good friend and I guess castmate, we'll call, from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, David Newell. David, thanks so much for joining us. How many times have you sung that song in your life?
Oh, hi, Doug. Oh, boy. If I had to go back and count, I don't know. After 35 years of taping the show, thousands of times. But, you know, if you would count the times Mr. Rogers sang A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, you couldn't count them. You know, between rehearsal and the actual performance, you sing it a lot. But those were wonderful years, and I reflect back and remember the good times we had making the program, and it's still available. It's still available for today's audiences.
No, absolutely, and we want to talk about that. Nick Barczyk, our producer, asked earlier how long you had been on the show with Fred. You just mentioned 35 years on air with him. Now, Fred had a couple shows before Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I know he was working in Canada at one point, but the show itself aired for what was it, 41? I'm trying to think of the exact number of how long.
Well, the show
31 seasons, right?
Yeah, I charted by saying the Sears Roebuck version in 1967. The Sears Roebuck Foundation came aboard and underwrote the cost of the program for the most part. And that lasted for 25 years. And then other underwriters came aboard, and we taped the show, new programs, for 35 years. But before that, Fred started in 1954, and he helped put WQED on the air with a program called The Children's Corner. And some of your listeners may remember Josie Carey. She was the host of that, and Fred was behind the scenes doing the puppets. Then that ran for 7 years. Then he went to Canada because somebody at the CBC had seen him with doing The Children's Corner. They said, we want to bring you to Canada and create a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on the Canadian television, CBC, and that's what he did. And he was there 2 years, and then he brought it back to Pittsburgh, and it's been here ever since. So it's really a Pittsburgh creation, but Canada is where it actually, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood actually began.
Yeah, and the National Education Television, the NET, that would pop up at the beginning of the show every time, and then at the end during the credits. I can remember, of course, I turned 5 in 1968, and I told this silly story earlier today on the air of my mother trying to convince me to blow my nose when I was a child, and I refused to do it, and she would say, do it for Mr. Rogers. And problem solved, my mom said. It was like a miracle. She realized that do it for Mr. Rogers. So this became a joke. I'd be in my 40s blowing my nose, and my mother would say, "Do it for Mr. Rogers."
That's a story I could put in my book.
Yeah, it's in fact after Fred died, and Pittsburgh Magazine did a great, huge article. In fact, most of that magazine edition was dedicated to him. I then wrote in the next week, and they published that letter, and I talked about blowing my nose for Mr. Rogers, a letter to the editor. The only letter to the editor I ever sent in, and it was about Mr. Rogers.
And that was the only letter to the editor you sent in, and that was it?
That was
one?
it. That was the one that got published. I've never sent another one. I figured, okay, that's good enough. Hard to believe, though, that show ended now 25 years ago.
Yes, ended production. Yes,
it still airs. We should say that.
But the availability is it's still going. So it's there for future generations. And Fred would be so delighted that that's the case, because when we started, I remember on the first day we started taping back in 1967, he said, "What I want to do is create a library of programs that can play for future audiences," and it's happening. The programs that we made, most of them are available for current audiences and future audiences to watch.
Well, frankly, it's probably more accessible now than it was when it was on the air. You could watch it twice a day, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. You can see it more. It's easier to find, and it's on more often now. You're right, than it was when it was just on once a day back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, because it's streamed on Pluto. There's a streaming service called Pluto, and it's on that, and it's also on pbskids.org. That's online, and it's on that, and then QED shows some of the programs on the weekend, so it's readily available. Fred would be delighted that, and we had no way of knowing back then that streaming would be a big way of getting content these days. That's the way kids see it online. That's how kids probably see it, because they have computers. Yeah. So it's a different world. I called it destination television back when we were doing it, because if you missed it at 5:00 every day, you'd have to wait till the next day. Now, if you miss it, you can see it 10 minutes later.
Yeah. Who would think that you could? What's the word I'm looking for? You could watch multiple shows in a row, Nick.
Yes.
You could binge watch Mr. Rogers. Thank you, Nick. Our producer feeding me words over there.
Well, that's true. Binge watching is a lot of people binge watch The Neighborhood. I've had a letter from I still get mail from people who grew up with the program saying that they missed a week and they sat down and they binge. It was during one of the snowstorms. They binge watched a whole week of programs, and it kept the kids occupied. So it was such a wonderful time making those programs, and Fred was just a wonderful person. What you see on television, that's what you got. He was a genuinely kind man and really wanted to use television in a positive way, which he did. And he was very particular, though, but what went into the program. And he, as you probably know, he had a degree in child development and a degree in music and a degree in divinity. And all those disciplines worked into producing Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And he had a mission. He did, and the mission was to use television in the best way he knew how. And he also said the space between the child at home and the television screen, that space is holy ground. And producers of children's television especially have a responsibility to produce the best kind of programs they can, especially for young children. And Fred did. He that was his mission in life. I think it grew out of his interest in children and in his divinity degree. And he was a he had a degree, and he was a minister. He was ordained.
Right, ordained 1963 by the Presbytery of Pittsburgh. I'm reading this on their website right here. At the Third Presbyterian Church, with the unusual charge to do his ministry with children and their families through mass media. And I think a lot of people who watched it originally would not have known that. You can't just get information like you can nowadays by jumping on the internet. But I think a lot of people probably thought, my gosh, he should be a minister based on how he handled things, when in fact he was. He never had a brick and mortar church, but he had a ministry that reached millions of children and adults throughout his career.
In fact, that is, to my knowledge and to Fred's knowledge at the time, that was the only ordination like it, that he was ordained to work with the mass media. You know, that was, he had probably the biggest congregation ever of any minister.
Oh, by far, yeah. It's
because the program at its peak and before all of the channels came. You know, there were 3 channels and public television and maybe an independent when we were making the program. Now there are 400. But at its peak, I think our daily viewership was probably around 8-9 million children. Then that was just what they counted. I'm sure that's not counting the ones they missed. You know? Exactly. So it had, and now all of those millions that watched over the generations have grown up, and they're turning the program on for their children. So it's what Fred wanted to do is happening. He left a legacy for everyone.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We were talking with David Newell, best known as Mr. McFeely on the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Show, Speedy Delivery, and that McFeely name was just not made up. That came right out of Fred's family, correct?
That's right. You know, the day that we started taping, my name was Mr. McCurdy. That's what Fred had written in the script. And that was giving a tribute to Mr. McCurdy, who was the man who was with Sears and Roebuck, who gave the money to underwrite the program. And Fred was saying, by using McCurdy as a character's name, thank you. He was thanking Sears without, making it a big deal. And the phone rang the day of our first taping, and it was Mr. McCurdy calling, and he was calling to say, "Oh, congratulations! We're glad that we're starting, and we love the concept, etc." He said, "But however, please don't call the delivery man Mr. McCurdy. It may seem a little too self-serving." So, and Fred said I didn't hear the conversation, but he was in the control room talking to Mr. McCurdy. He came back in the studio. He walked right up to me and said, "We have to get you another name," and then he explained why. And before he finished he said, "McFeely, that's who you are now. You're Mr. McFeely," because McFeely, MC, and McCurdy, all of that. But the irony is that McFeely was his grandfather's name, because Fred's middle name is Fred McFeely Rogers. And so I'm carrying on the family legacy, I guess, too.
They keep McFeely. Nowadays, with the world of sponsorship, they would have insisted that you be called Mr. Sears, probably, on the show. Or wearing a Sears patch on your shirt or something. But that's interesting. They didn't want to do it because they thought it was too self-serving.
Yeah, that's what they thought. Now that could have been, that particular executive, but I think that's probably why it was. They were being conservative. I think they didn't want to make a big deal and make it look like they were. They were probably trying to, because it was foundation money. It's different than than money, sponsorship money. So it probably had something to do with it. But at any rate, that's why I'm Mr. McFeely, because of that last minute decision.
And now you know the rest of the story, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
As Paul Harvey would have said. Yeah.
And then in 10 minutes later, we started taping the first episode, and I made a delivery of an armadillo. I remember that clearly.
An armadillo?
Yes, and it had
Was it living?
A living armadillo.
They're not nice animals to be around. Gee whiz.
I know, but what it was the theme of the show. There was something to do with. It had a theme. Fred always had themes. An armadillo fit into the theme somehow. And then how I brought it, and then I said, I've got to take it back to the zoo, etc. And as I was leaving, I said, well, speedy delivery. And Fred said, well, speedy delivery, Mr. McFeely, and off I went. And that's how speedy delivery started. And I just sort of ad-libbed it.
Many years ago, I was at a wedding of a mutual friend of ours, John McIntyre, and when it came time to present the ring, I forget exactly what Mac said. He said, I don't have the ring. Where's the ring? And all of a sudden you ran into the room, said, speedy delivery. Yeah. And you arrived with the ring, and you delivered the ring for John's wedding. I don't think that marriage lasted, but we're not going to blame the delivery. I don't think that had anything to do with it. Yeah.
I think he may have had a couple marriages since.
I think, yeah. It would have been a full-time job for you to deliver John's wedding rings over the years. As we talked to Mr. McFeely, David Newell, on this it was last Thursday, the anniversary of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood debuting in 1968, but as you said, there were other machinations of it before that. And I remember, I don't remember watching the ones before that, but my parents said I did. So did you ever hear of the Children's Corner? Sure. Oh, absolutely. Apparently, I watched it. I don't remember. I was too young. I was born in '63. But I do remember watching Mr. Rogers from the very beginning. I was about 5 or 6 years old when it came on QED.
Yeah, if you took all of the years together, Fred has been on television in some form since 1954 up until 2001. That's what we stopped taping the Neighborhood, but then it ran on. But Fred passed away in 2003.
Right.
And I remember the last appearance that he made. I was with him. He was the Grand Marshal on New Year's Day, 2003. He was Grand Marshal of the Rose Bowl parade, along with, of all people, Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
and Art Linkletter. The three of them are the Grand Marshals, and I was with Fred just helping him out, and I'd be on the sidelines, and anything he needed I could help him with. But he came back then to Pittsburgh, and he went into the hospital because he was complaining about his stomach, and they thought, it could be an ulcer or something. And when they went in to operate, they discovered he had stomach cancer, and from that point on, it was about a month later he passed away. But the last appearance was that Rose Bowl parade.
Yeah, Fred Rogers, of course, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and as you just mentioned, ironically, at the same time he received it, so did Bill Cosby. They were both in the White House on the same day, receiving the same award from President Bush, George W. Bush.
Yeah, that's right.
2002.
And I was there for that too. I went along, and I think also there were about 7, and Nancy Reagan was another. She got a medal that day too. And there were a couple others, and I'm blanking on who it was, but they were all prominent in their field. I think a baseball player, but I think they still do. That's a tradition of it's a presidential medal of freedom, so any president continues to give it out, I believe.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But Fred, that was a wonderful day, though. Fred was, he certainly deserved it. He's such a kind man. That is what made it such a pleasure to work with. And he had a terrific sense of humor, too. That's what people didn't see. But sometimes the humor came out on the program, especially King Friday. King Friday, that's where Fred's humor came out. And you probably know that he wrote all of his own material. He wrote all the scripts, and he wrote the music and the lyrics to the song he sang, and he hosted the show, and he did the puppets. So it really was Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Unfortunately, we're out of time as we talk with David Newell, but that's where the tennis shoes came from because he was running around the studio so much in the early shows that if he had regular shoes on, it would have been picked up on the microphone. So that's why I wore tennis shoes. It wasn't some big decision. He just had to be quiet behind the scenes doing the puppetry.
That's exactly right. And they became, the original pair of tennis shoes that he wore is in the Smithsonian right now.
I've seen it. And the sweaters.
And also the McFeely, they just installed the McFeely costume too. I have seven outfits, and one of them is installed in the Smithsonian. So if you go to the pop culture part of the Smithsonian, you'll see Mr. McFeely hanging in the. I finally made it into a museum.
That's big time. I wish we had more time to talk to you. We'll have you back on again. But I did go to a Halloween party years ago as Mr. McFeely. So
you did?
I should have gotten your permission, but I didn't at the time. So,
that's perfect. I'm glad it's good PR.
David, thanks so much. We appreciate your memories of Fred Rogers
The
on
good
the
thing about
anniversary.
the end of a week is that we can look
Okay,
forward
Doug,
to the
call
beginning of the
anytime.
next.
All right, thanks so much. And of course, here's the music that Mr. Rogers' show always ended with. This one right here.
I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to do, and I will too.
Let's take a quick break and we'll wrap it up in a few moments. Thanks, David Newell, for joining us.
For 35 years, Fay Penn Economic Development Council has been committed to its mission of growing Fayette County's economy and helping to bring jobs to the area. Whether you're a startup, existing, or new business in Fayette County, Fay Penn's lending team can work with you to decide if the Fay Penn Loan Fund suits your business's needs. Fay Penn's Loan Fund offers loans starting at $10,000, pending qualifications. Visit faypenn.org to learn more about financing opportunities for your business and to complete a pre-application form.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.